este día cuando le toque regresar a Metro West. Pero estamos confiando en Dios que al final de todo esto el juez les dé el veredicto y anule la interrogación que le hicieron a él en la jefatura de policía, si es que no les dice que van a tener que esperar, ¿no?
Oh my God,
hasta que él dé su veredicto. Pero yo espero que en este momento, cuando se termine, ¿verdad? El juez les dé a ellos de una sola vez ya su decisión de votarles la interrogación.
Milo, disculpa que te interrumpa, es el mismo juez. Sí.
¿Quién iba a hablar? ¿María José?
Sí, está preguntando que si es el mismo juez Aravita.
Oh, okay.
Sí, claro, el mismo juez, por supuesto. Como ustedes ya verán, la familia Proderek se ha sentado por ahí. Ya ustedes los vieron porque andan con los pullovers, ¿verdad? Con la camisa del niño. Y si no me equivoco, creo que esta es la abuelita la que está ahí y el papá del niño acá. Están sentados en la segunda fila. No sé quién es este señor grandote que está aquí, pero creo que esta es la abuelita y este es el papá, si no me equivoco. Porque no creo que estén sentados del otro lado, a menos de que Derek esté sentado del lado de allá, o sea que donde lo sientan a ellos está allá. Porque la manera como está esta sala, no sé, se ve distinta como nosotros siempre la vemos. Porque comúnmente la defensa está del lado de allá, a menos de que le diéramos vuelta. Entonces tendría que estar él sentado de este lado de acá. Porque aquí está el bailiff de este lado de aquí, a menos de que Derek esté sentado aquí de este lado, porque miren, no hay otras cámaras. Dígame, ¿quién me habló?
Yo, Luisita. El señor grande que usted dijo, creo que es el hermano Divina, que en paz descanse.
Ah, ok. Entonces, ahí están sentados ellos, ahí los tres. Doña Isabel, el papá del niño y el hermano de la... Bueno, ya regresamos otra vez. Por favor, no se desmuteen. Muten sus micrófonos, por favor.
Okay, be seated, everybody. All right, Ms. Riello, or can we proceed? Can we go forward?
Okay.
Ma'am, I did want to mention one thing. You had indicated, I don't know if there's some prohibition from you being here tomorrow. Hopefully we will go as late as we need today to wrap this up, but once we finish this motion, I have the motion to continue that's pending, and then we left a bunch of the trial motions open, and we may get to them depending on the motion to continue, and if the and we may get to a lot of other things, including methods of jury selection and other security measures, et cetera. So my anticipation was when we finish the evidentiary hearings here, we'll go into the motion to continue. And if we continue further after that towards a trial, we have a bunch of stuff still on our plates here. So please,
por favor,
be aware of that.
Quiero hacerles saber esto.
Mr. Borst, you may continue.
Señor Borst, puede continuar. Están escuchando la llamada de...
Okay, right now, now. You can put them out to the side, just have your phone with you, okay? Just everything on the screen. Where is it to do? Is it still in there? She's leaving, okay. As soon as one of us do is if you wake up. If you wake up, just let me know. I need to know, do you think we can help your mom? She's at that. She's at that. That's the more than 5 times. And when that's calling me, what has it been? Everything that's to the office is better after Okay. Can you go in the room or not? Stay in the room, stay there where you are, do not touch anything else.
Ese es el momento donde ella le dice que se quede ahí en la sala.
Yes, sir. more family than they can take care of my sister. I understand.
Es el momento donde él le dice a ella que él tiene personas que pueden cuidar a la niña.
Yes. I've been thinking and I told my friends about that. You know who about it? My friend. Your friend, you sent pictures to your friend, so what you did?
Ella le preguntó acerca de a quién le había mandado fotos.
Do not have anything in your hands, Derek, okay? I'm not saying that, and I just okay. Stay in the living room or you have your cell phone, okay? There will be on the line. Okay, okay. Miss. Yes, Derek. I put the wrong thing in the house, no, that for that. That's okay, that's not a problem, Derek, okay? That's not a problem. They would be on the line, okay? If I can do this to get along, can you tell me why? I guess I didn't want to be there. I was going to kill her and then kill myself. And not kill my sister, but I didn't want to kill myself. And because it's my mom.
Bueno, solo los que están adentro de la corte nos van a poder decir cómo está Derek Ross en este momento.
That's all my mom. I did hear the call. Okay, so now pick up the phone. If they were here, okay? Stay with me. Okay. Thank you, Derek. You ever get any fireworks that you heard? No, I'm not sure. I just don't move it. You have blood in your head? Yeah. Okay, stay with me on the line, okay? Okay. I was just getting so bad. Because this is an attorney emergency, Derek, so we get to take this back. We're here to help you, okay? We're going to help you and your sister, okay? Okay.
Si se dan cuenta, hay muchos espacios cuando ella está comunicándose con él. Por esa razón le cortaron todos esos pedazos. Cuando se escucha la llamada del 911, ustedes no se dan cuenta de esto, pero hubieron muchos periodos de silencio mientras estaban comunicándose. Sí.
And I told him I'm sorry, and that's too bad. No, but I understand. We're going to help you, Derek, okay? So I'll be there, Derek, to help you, okay? Okay. Okay. And don't stay on the line. Okay, okay.
Espero que se estén dando cuenta de eso. Ve todos los espacios que hay. Mucho silencio.
Okay. I'll be that. I'm pretty bad. I understand, Derek. We're here to help you. We're going to help you. We're going to help your sister, okay? Okay. I know you didn't mean to do all of that. You did, okay? Okay. But I just want to make sure that you're okay. I'm okay. My mom doesn't did that. I understand that. We're going to have to see if we can do.
Si ustedes se dan cuenta, en la llamada que ustedes han escuchado, va corrida, y esta es la llamada.
I'm cutting it into this. No one can do it a lot. You don't like the door. You know, just keep the door locked. Just make sure you don't have anything in your hand. You know, okay? Just go to the phone. Okay, yeah. Don't have problems. I have no problems. Yeah, fine. That's perfect. Okay, stay with me on the line. Okay. Okay. We're just there to help you. Okay?
Me imagino que ese señor que está parado ahí ha de ser el del canal amarillista, es el que está grabando ahí. Me imagino que es él, o será otro canal, no sé.
Okay. Okay. Okay, want to make sure that you have nothing in your hand. I don't have the
Ese es el momento cuando la operadora le dice que no tiene que tener nada en las manos.
I just want to make sure that you have nothing in your hands, no guns, no knives.
Ella le está diciendo que quiere asegurarse que no tiene nada en las manos.
Okay, stay with your hands and I open up I tell you to. Okay, open the door. Do not open the door until I tell you to, okay? They're opening it. They're opening the door? The door and they're unlocked. Do not find yourself by your hand. They're not gonna make you do it there. We're going to help you, okay? We're gonna help you recovery, okay? Okay.
Escucharon cómo está asustado él, ¿verdad?
I need to confirm that you have nothing other than yourself by your hand. They're knocking on other doors while they're helping. I can hear them. That's fine. I'm here to help you. I'm gonna tell you when to open the door. Okay. Do not open the door. Okay, let's see.
Quisiera poder ver qué es lo que está escribiendo la Morales.
Okay, do not go outside there. Stay with me on the
Tiene rato de estar, escribe.
Okay, so just a minute. Stay with me. I'm here. Okay. Stay with me on the line, Eric. We're gonna help you, okay? Just remember, we don't want you guys to help you, not to hurt you, not to hurt your sister, to help you, okay? Okay, Liz.
¿Se dan cuenta ustedes que el niño dijo que él los podía escuchar, que quería abrir la puerta? Literalmente de ese momento hasta ahorita ella todavía le sigue diciendo que no quieren ayudar. Si le están poniendo atención, ya pasaron 2 minutos entre él paniqueado y ella diciéndole que lo van a ayudar. Correcto, esa es la llamada del 911.
You call her dad? Yeah. Okay. Did you stop there all that I call her dad? On her back and a couple times and then.
Si se supone que ya venían subiendo, ¿por qué no entraron y por qué ya pasaron 2 minutos? Pónganse a pensar. Y siguen hablando de la puerta. ¿Se dieron cuenta? Si quieren interactuar, por supuesto, escríbanlo.
Okay. I'm then the room.
En ese momento, cuando él dice que está en la sala,
Open the door slowly with your hands up, okay?
le está dando instrucciones que abra la puerta con las manos arriba.
On paper, the one on the floor. And with the phone on the floor and go outside with your hands up in the air.
Le está dando instrucciones que salga con las manos en alto. Y le está preguntando que si pone el celular en el piso. Y creo que fue en ese momento cuando ya lo sacaron, creo. Ya.
Detective, the recording that was just published out in court. Are you familiar with that
Esa
recording?
grabación fue publicada, ¿usted
And
está
is it
familiarizado con eso? Sí.
the same recording that you've listened to
Y ese
previously
fue el
associated with
mismo
your
reporte que usted escuchó previamente que está asociado con esto, sí.
When have a moment, Chief.
You may.
But I confirm with the defense, I have Officer Gutierrez's BWC. As I mentioned before, there's BWC from being transported from the apartment complex to the station and then into the holding cell. And then there's a second video of him being transported from the holding cell to the jack and ultimately for the Baker Act. I was just going to play a few portions of that. I don't know if Your Honor would prefer me to publish that now or and publish that after cross. I don't have a preference. I'm just giving the court the option.
Has it been admitted?
Yeah, the defense has no objection to his admission, and it's on the flash drive states too.
You might as well do it now. Okay, it's fine.
And Morales,
Do you have an objection doing it now, fashion as we have?
I don't, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay.
Ms. Morales knows he's going to get it.
And will you have more witnesses after the detective?
From the state no judge.
Okay.
Would be
We'll
arrested.
do it that way. We can sort of consolidate it all.
Bueno, por este momento, Jonathan Borges está pidiendo autorización para poner el video del transporte del niño de los apartamentos hacia la comisaría y el video de cuando lo llevan a la celda dentro de la comisaría y el video de cuando lo sacan de la celda a encaminarlo al cuarto de interrogatorio.
Es el mismo video que nosotros vimos, me imagino. Porque el niño estuvo perdido las 2 horas de mi güey. También lo vi. Bueno, en el patrullero por lo menos.
Sí, esa es Raquel Morales asistiendo a poner los videos en el monitor.
Rarita. Fíjate cómo él esquiva a hablar de la llamada.
Sí, vamos a poner atención a esos detalles, ¿ok?
The record is at 2:36 a.m. and 36 seconds on the titled BWC Gutierrez, ending in Axon Body Video 2023-10-12-2340 _ X60A16658. At
Ahí es donde se va a ver la propia fiscal Morales en su propio video. Como pueden admirar, la señora se ve bastante nerviosa. Yo le voy a agradecer a usted que mantenga los comentarios limpios, solo para proteger el en vivo. Una vez que se acabe la transmisión, ya puede comentar lo que guste.
that video. And for the record, on State's Exhibit 2, this is body-worn camera Gutierrez, Axon Body 3 video 2023-1013_0446 being played at 6:11 in the morning and 18 seconds.
Are you all confident that those timestamps on there are consistent from one body cam to the other?
Of the timing of the morning? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
So do you agree?
Accept or accept or accept.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to
Is there any time to do?
whatever they do.
No, you can do that. Go ahead. Are you going to do so?
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, sir.
Yeah,
Great video. Where is this?
This is at the Jack.
This is at the Jack, not what I thought.
Yes.
I didn't recall you saying.
And I realize it might be hard to hear this portion, Your Honor, of the question and answer, so
That's fine. Are you in agreement, Mr. Riello, this is the video that was taken by Officer Gutierrez's body-worn camera at the Juvenile Assessment Center?
yes, Your Honor, I have no objection to this.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Go ahead.
Have 6 seconds. You know that we will be happy to do. Are you ready? Are you focused? You have your thoughts about the killing of the vehicle? You can make me like this is especially bad.
No hay suficiente volumen en el audio del video que están poniendo en la pantalla, pero usted y yo ya lo hemos visto aquí en nuestro en vivo. Solo se le preguntó a la doctora Rielo que si ella está o tiene conocimiento de ese video en el pasado y ella acaba de admitir que sí.
and that's being paused at 6:12 a.m. and 40 seconds.
Si va a ayudar con los corazones blancos, le agradecería que solo ponga 3 a la vez, 3 por comentario. Gracias.
And you have access to the Axon storage system. Are they the body-worn camera videos associated with Officer Gutierrez?
Yes.
Okay. May I have one moment, Judge? Sure. I'll go. That's good. Now, Detective, in the defense's motion, they raised the possibility that the defendant is someone who is on the autism spectrum. Have you ever, as a detective, received classes for how to appropriately interview people who are on the autism spectrum?
We have had in-service training where they have come to our department. That includes a person with autism as part of the presentation, and very limited, but I have had training.
So are you saying that the presenters are people who themselves are diagnosed with autism?
Well, in this case, the presenter had a son who was autistic that was part of the presentation.
Now, during the presentation, what were some of the best practices that you learned when interviewing somebody who may be autistic?
Talk to them in a not an aggressive tone. You gotta watch your body movements where they may sense aggression, to avoid any movements that would resemble aggression. Don't crowd them, give them their space, and allow them to communicate freely. Don't interrupt them, don't overwhelm them,
And so, would that include having the environment where the interview is taking place being somewhat quiet and controlled?
Yes.
Was the office that you interviewed Derek Rose in a generally quiet and controlled office setting?
Very quiet, yes.
And now, regardless of whether or not Derek Rose is or is not autistic, do the same points that you were trained on regarding interviewing somebody with autistic, did you use that same type of style when Derek Rose was being interviewed?
Yeah, he showed me no signs of autism whatsoever. He acted normal and all that, but I would say that the way I conducted my interview really wasn't in an aggressive manner and all that, so it wouldn't have been any different.
Yeah, that's kind of along the line of getting it.
Yeah.
Would you have changed the way in which you addressed and spoke to Derek Rosa had you been told about an autism diagnosis? Would you have changed anything?
I would have changed it if I would have evaluated him to the point where he didn't understand, was having a problem communicating or something like that, which wasn't the case in this.
Did you ever see, during the time that you were with Derek Rosa, him rocking or tapping or shaking, anything like that?
No.
Would you say that he looked relaxed?
Yes.
Did he seem to have a memory as to what had occurred?
Yes.
Was he able to provide it to you with specific details?
Yes.
Did you ever tell him any lies?
No.
Did you ever try to trick him?
No.
Okay, Detective, I don't have any initial questions for you. The defense may have some questions, and if possible, I'll have some more follow-up, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I proceed, Your Honor? Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
Good.
Sir, you are the lead detective in this case, correct?
Yes.
And you've been so since October 12th of 2023?
Yes.
That designation has not changed.
No.
And prior to being here today, you have also testified on this case under oath on 2 other occasions, right?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to ask you to speak up a little
Sure.
bit, or...
Sure, I will remain.
Proximity to that mic.
Sure, not a problem, not a problem. Thank you. Sir, you were agreeing that you testified on 2 prior occasions under oath in this case, correct?
Yes.
One was December 14th, 2023, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
And the other one was April 21st, during your deposition, right?
Yes.
Which I took,
Yes.
right? And during that deposition, you understood that obviously you were under oath and everything was being transcribed, right?
Yes.
And at the conclusion of that deposition, you chose, in fact, to read, right?
Yes.
The informal, I know you want to say yes, but allow me to finish the question for the benefit of the transcription, okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now, at that time, you chose to read the, let's call it informal transcript or transcript in preparation prior to it being finalized, right?
Yes.
And when you actually did that, you found that there were no errors in that transcript, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as the lead detective in this case, you are the repository for this entire file, right? Meaning you have viewed all of the supplemental reports.
Yes.
You have, according to your testimony, watched all the other body-worn cameras with the other officers, right?
Yes,
And you are familiar, from beginning to end, with everything that this case entails, right?
yes.
Now, I remember when we saw each other in April of 2025, you mentioned, or you in fact changed slightly your supplemental report. Do you remember that you made a correction to it?
It was a correction based on an interview that I did of the defendant's father, or is that what you're referring to?
That's the correction that you made. So,
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
and before we move forward today, are there any other corrections that you have to make either on that report or anything else that you noticed during your review of this file?
No.
Is there anything that you brought here today to assist you in providing your testimony?
I have my supplement here, and I have 2 transcripts.
Okay, and your supplement is the one that's number 7?
Yes, it's number 7, the only supplement I have here in this case, yes.
Okay, and the 2 transcripts that you have, are those the ones from December of 2023 and April of 2024?
No, they're actually sworn testimony from the defendant's father and his grandmother, and of the state.
Transcripts of your interview with Jose Rosa?
Yes.
And transcript of the interview that was conducted of Isabel Garcia?
Yes, and transcripts of the statement that the post-Miranda statement.
Okay. Do you have a waiver form in front of you, by the way?
No.
Okay. If the state doesn't mind, I'm going to provide a copy to the detective just so we can follow along and not have to keep walking on time.
You want me to give it?
For the record? No, I might want to write on it. For the record, I just showed Mr. Forrest a clean copy of the waiver form. I'm handing it to the witness. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes.
And that's the waiver form that you assisted Derek in completing on October 13, 2023, right?
Yes.
Do you see anything different about that form than what you remember assisting him in completing?
No.
Do you have a pen with you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now, you testified, it's been hours now, but when Mr. Forrest started the examination, you testified that you were called about midnight, right?
Roughly, yes.
And you were sleeping.
Yes.
And this is the first that you learned of the incident.
Yes.
And you were needed for the incident.
Yes.
Do you recall also getting a text message at 12:24 a.m. Detailing what had occurred at Amelia Oaks?
I don't recall that.
Do you recall being part of a WhatsApp chat where all of the homicide unit was also involved, where you exchanged information about this case?
We routinely do that with investigations, yes.
Okay, and you did so in this investigation?
Yes.
Okay, now would it refresh your recollection if I showed you the exchange, particularly the message that Detective Mahmoud Montalvo sends the chat on October 13th, 2023 at 12:24 a.m.?
I can tell you that she sent it, if you show it to me. What I can't confirm is reading it, because I don't read all the chats right away, you know?
Sure. Now, you do agree that there was a chat that you were a part of?
There was a chat that I was a part of, included in it, yes.
Okay, and it wasn't against your will, right?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, you could have declined to be part of it, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you are saying that you don't remember whether you read her message?
I don't know what message you're talking about.
Okay, would it refresh your recollection if I showed it to you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to actually pull it up. I don't know if there's a way to restore it.
En este momento la doctora Riero le va a demostrar a él que, aunque él lo negó por decir que estaba dormido cuando le llegó la llamada para asistir a empezar la investigación en el apartamento de Irina, él recibió mensajes de textos, comunicaciones que le daban detalles del crimen.
Do you want me to walk up to it?
That'd be great. Thank you, sir. I apologize.
Try to make it larger because I can't see it.
El detective Losegui se acaba de ofrecer a ayudarle a ella a mostrar lo que está en el monitor. Se acercó más al monitor para ver con más claridad comunicación entre el detective Losegui y al parecer lo que fuera un civil, no un oficial de policía, antes de las 12:20 de la madrugada del 13.
Is that better, Jan? Okay.
Ahí está la cara de la... Tenga cuidado con sus comentarios. Mantenga los comentarios limpios, gracias.
The chat.
Y comparta, por favor.
You're looking at the participants. Tell me this is your recollection with yourself, right?
Yes.
Detective Mui? Detective Montalvo?
Yes.
Detective Wilbur Gonzalez?
Yes.
Sergeant Gene DeLeo?
Yes.
Mayor Purveyor?
Yes.
Detective Felix Perez?
Yes.
Sergeant Falaez?
Yes.
And now the administrators were Detective Mui, Mayor Purveyor,
Yes.
and Detective Perez. Is that your recollection?
Yes.
Okay, now looking at what's on the screen right here, which has been previously marked as Defense 5A? A1. You see at the top it says October 13, 2023, right?
Yes.
And then there's a box that says DET period Maggie.
Yes.
You see that? And now Maggie is Mahela Montalvo, right?
Yes, it is.
That's what you call it for short.
Yes.
Okay? And in here, she sends what appears to be a screenshot, and it says 13-year-old killed mom, emoji to the face, or palm to the face emoji. I don't know what we call that, but do you see that?
Yes, I see.
Okay. Now, this message was sent at 12:24 a.m. on October 13, 2024. Do you see that?
I see it.
Okay. Do you remember getting that message?
No.
Okay. You would have been able to if you just opened your phone, right?
If I opened my phone, I would have been able to see it.
Okay. You can go ahead and take a seat.
Sure.
Unless you want to.
Well, you have anything else?
You got anything else on the screen here?
I'm sorry?
Anything else on the screen you need him to look at?
I'm sorry,
Is
sir?
there anything else on the screen you need him to look at?
No, sir.
Have a seat. Next question.
Now, detective, when you arrive at the scene, Derek is already in a patrol car, right?
Yes.
It's already secured,
Already secured, yes.
cuffed.
I couldn't tell you because I never had any contact with him on the scene.
Okay. Now, did you later find out through the review of everything that you reviewed, specifically the body worn camera, that he was in fact taken into custody at 11:49 p.m.?
I wouldn't argue against you if you say that's the time.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, prior to arriving on scene, you knew that there was a 13-year-old boy that had killed his mother, right?
Yes.
And prior to arriving on scene, you were also briefed on the 911 call, right?
Yes.
Prior to arriving on scene, you knew, obviously, that he was not 18 years old, right?
Yes.
You knew he was a male.
Yes.
You knew he spoke English.
Yes.
And did you actually listen to the 911 call prior to arriving on scene?
No.
Now, you did know, however, that he had indicated suicidal thoughts on the call.
Yes.
Now, after your arrival, Would you agree with me that you arrived on scene, your patrol car is seen arriving on scene at 1:14 a.m.? Your car, your silver car, is seen arriving on scene at 1:14 a.m. on the 13th.
That would be about right.
Okay. And after your arrival, but prior to the interview at the station, you went inside the apartment, correct?
No.
You never went inside of the apartment after you arrived at 1:14 a.m.?
I believe the apartment was sealed up, pending a search warrant.
Okay. Do you remember having a do you call it briefing or debriefing?
A briefing.
A briefing, okay. Do you remember having a briefing at 1:45 in the morning?
I don't remember. That's at 1:40. I can't tell you the time that we had a briefing, but we did discuss the case.
Would it refresh your recollection if I showed you a portion of a body-worn camera that's already been admitted to evidence?
Yes.
Okay. We could pull Officer Acosta's PWC at 1:45. It started at 1:44.
Ms. Reed, it has been marked for impeachment, it has not been entered.
My apologies. My apologies. It's been marked as. Okay, so it's been marked as defense A1 detective. It has not been introduced. You mentioned that you reviewed all of the body-worn camera, correct?
For the most part, I wouldn't say every single one of them, but the ones that had something to do with the investigative portion of the case.
Would you agree that the briefing in this case, when everybody's assignment was laid out, is extremely important in this case?
When the assignments are as far as...
At 1:45 in the morning,
Right.
when the highest authority gathered at that scene, when I say the highest authority, yourself, Lieutenant Tillman, he was the highest ranking individual there, right?
Lieutenant Tillman is on the patrol side. I'm on the investigative side.
I understand that. Rank-wise, he was the highest ranking person in the city, in fact, at that time, was he not?
Well, he was the shift commander to the patrol division.
Okay, is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. At 1:45, yourself, Mayor Purveyor, Sergeant DeLima, Detective Montalvo, Detective Gonzalez, you all had a briefing. Do you remember this?
I remember us getting together and when they were giving out assignments, so forth, so on, but I don't remember the particulars of it.
Okay. If I may, I'm going to pull up Officer Acosta's PWC around that time, and let me know if this refreshes your recollection, please.
I don't object to its admission, but I think we can need to have it.
But wait a minute, sorry. Could you hold off on playing that for a moment, please? First, what is it that we're looking at?
We are looking at Officer Acosta's body-worn camera.
Okay. Has it been admitted into evidence?
It has been pre-marked, it has not been admitted to evidence.
Do you seek to admit it into evidence?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, that's then what generally you would ask, may I admit this as evidence? Do you mind stating if you have a position?
No,
Then it's admitted.
Thank you, Your
Then
Honor.
it gets an evidence number that the clerk will now announce.
Thank you. And if it would be easier, everything that we have pre-marked, it is my understanding there is no objection from the state.
It's a little easier for the record if it's introduced as you address it during your inquiry. And if there's anything that's left at the end that you want to be made a part of the record, announce what it is and we'll see what the state has to say.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Defense Exhibit A1 marked for ID will become Defense Exhibit A.
For the record, starts at 1:43:31. 1:45 video.
Entonces, ahorita lo que van a ver es la cámara corporal de uno de los oficiales que no estaba metida como evidencia, acaba de ser aceptada o admitida por evidencia y la fiscalía no presenta ninguna objeción. Dígalo.
La sonrisa de la secretaria, está poniendo cosas. ¿Está bien cómo se rió? La secretaria de la muchacha que está ayudándole a rielo.
Ella no.
Como que no, la otra, la de acá. La que está poniendo el video, ella, esta. Le dio una sonrisa.
Este es Raquel Morales.
Pues estaba riéndose el idiota.
Pues yo creo porque no le sabe al monitor. Hasta este momento, el detective Joseph Velosegui está en apuros. Hay cosas que hay inconsistencias en la manera que él dice que estaba dormido y lo despertaron con la notificación que había sucedido el crimen, pero ya le demostraron a él en su propia cara que no había manera que él respondiera mensajes a la hora que él dice que estaba dormido.
Quiere mostrar que él estaba ahí en la escena, que nunca entró al apartamento. Ya no es Raquel,
Oh, pensé que era Raquel.
No, me parece, pero Raquel está...
Es la secretaria de ella, la que la vez pasada, donde estaba la Raquel sentada.
Bueno.
Yes.
And then the officer in the Costa, he walks downstairs, you see him do that, right?
Yes.
And then he gets closer to the, I'm going to call this the huddle, if that's okay with you?
Yes.
Okay? And
Disculpe.
then here we see, in fact, I guess for lack of a better word, a huddle of officers on scene, right?
There's a group of officers.
Okay. Now this group of officers came together for a briefing, right?
Right there?
Yes, sir. What, 45 in the morning?
I couldn't tell you if that was a briefing or not. That's unless you have something else that you can catch that sees as briefing, I really can't tell you because we gather, you understand? So I don't know if it was a briefing at that time.
What is a briefing, sir?
A briefing is where we get together, the supervisor, the homicide sergeant will issue assignments. For example, you're the lead detective, you're the scene detective, you conduct witness interviews, so forth, so on. And then we get to work.
Now, during these briefings, do you have your body on camera on?
No.
So during these briefings, there would be no video of what's actually being discussed, right?
We're not required to.
Okay, so the answer is no, it would not be.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the only video that we would have is a patrol officer, such as what we have here, right?
Yes.
Okay, and in fact, that camera, that microphone is off. That's why we don't have a sound, right?
I couldn't tell you, but if it's got to be muted if you don't get a sound, yes.
Okay. Now, right after this gathering, let's say, you interviewed less than 5 minutes later, exactly at 1:50, you started the interview of Jose Rosa. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, did you do anything between this gathering and the interview of Jose Rosa?
No.
Fair to say that you got your assignment, meaning you are to interview Jose Rosa during this gathering?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you also got the assignment to interview Derek Rosa, right?
Yes.
So you already knew by the time that you're leaving this gathering that you're going to interview the father, you're going to interview the son, right?
Yes. It's fair to say, yes.
Sure. And you also knew that Derek Rosa at this point was still parked at Amelia Oaks in the parking lot in the back of a cop car, right?
Yes.
Now, when you interviewed Jose Rosa, the main purpose of that interview is to get background on Derek Rosa, right?
Yes.
And you want that background because he's one so young, right?
Yes.
The charges that he's potentially facing are extremely serious, right?
Yes.
You have no idea who this kid is.
Yes.
You've never arrested him before.
Right.
You don't know whether he's under the influence of alcohol, right?
At that point, when I was interviewing Mr. Rosa, I had not made contact with the defendant to assess him.
So, but not only that, you had never met him prior, right?
Never met him prior.
So you don't know anything about this kid, right?
Not a thing.
And that's why the gathering of information to his father, his biological father, was so important at that time, right?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Rosa, Jose Rosa, he showed you his law enforcement badge, right?
He told me he was law enforcement. I don't remember seeing a badge.
Would it refresh your recollection if I played the video of his interview?
I knew he was law enforcement.
Okay.
Well, if he did or not, yeah, it would refresh it, seeing it, but I was aware that he was law enforcement.
Okay, not only were you aware, but you actually asked him if he did any undercover work. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, yes.
Now, at this point, you know that he's the biological father, right?
Yes.
But you don't know how much time they spend cohabitating. And by they, I apologize, I mean Derek Rosa and Jose Rosa. You don't know how much time they spend living together under one roof.
At that point, I knew it was his father. As far as any time they spent together or not, no, but he seemed to answer every question or give information like he knew his son rather well.
So the answer to my question is no, you did not know their cohabitation situation.
No, not that they didn't live together, if that's what you're asking.
You knew that mom and dad, Jose Rosa and Edina Garcia, were not married, though. You knew that, right? Based on the interview and the questions that you asked them, you have a transcript on
Yes, that they were married, yes.
Okay. And you never asked him about the custody agreement, right?
I don't believe I did.
And by him, I mean Jose Rosa.
Right.
And you also didn't ask him at that time, for example, who was in charge of medical appointments, right?
No, I don't believe I asked him that.
You didn't ask him who was in charge of attending to school meetings, right?
I didn't ask him that.
And you didn't know if Derek Rosa took any medication, right?
No.
You also didn't know when his last medical checkup was, right?
No.
Did you know if his father, Jose Rosa, whom you were interviewing, in fact, even had access to his medical records? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Because you didn't ask him, right?
I didn't ask him. No.
Did you know if he had access to his school records, if he wanted to?
I don't know.
Because you didn't ask him, right? Did you know if Derek Rosa had an IEP at school, for example? Do you know what an IEP is?
No, what's an IEP?
An IEP.
Oh my God.
Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, now IEP is an individualized, specialized program in school for disabilities. Okay? Did you know if Derek had one at that moment?
No, but he never mentioned any problems that Derek had whatsoever. I did ask him if he had any mental difficulties or what. He said no. He told me he was a great student and so forth and so on. So he was answering questions or giving questions like he knew his son rather well.
Sure. Now, the fact that you don't know, or I guess you didn't know what an IEP program means, I don't want to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, means that you probably don't understand how it affects someone's development, let's say, scholastic development, right?
I don't know, or I know it under a special education course, another terminology, that's the same thing you're talking about. But, at that point, the father did not mention anything about him being in any special course or anything other than he was a straight A student, excellent student, and so that never even crossed my mind based on the information the father was giving.
And when he tells you that he's a straight A student, you don't know if he in fact can verify that, right?
I'm taking his father's word for it because his father was rather positive in the way that he was speaking to me about his son, so I had no reason to doubt the father at this time.
Sure, but you don't know whether it was true or not, correct?
At that point, I didn't go to the school and find out or anything. No, it wasn't. the setting for it.
Sure, but you also didn't ask Jose Rosa, oh, you have access to his grades, may I see them?
No, I didn't, no.
Okay? Now, would you agree that understanding, for example, medical background would be an important part of the background on this kid that you were trying to gather?
It depends what type of medical background. You know, if what, he's diabetic, it really doesn't have any effect. If he's got a heart problem, it all depends. You know, I don't think if he had a medical condition that it would interfere with my interview whatsoever.
So no, that's not important to you, the medical background.
At that point, not necessarily. If the father would have told me that he is mentally challenged, had a psychological problem, was a slow learner, did not understand, was illiterate, then I would say yes, but not just a medical problem.
Now, is it fair to say that you didn't ask Jose Rosa anything beside what we see in that 9 minutes of your interview?
That's it, yes.
You never interacted with him again, right?
No.
And you never knew him from prior to that meeting, right?
That's correct.
You did later come to find out when you interviewed Derek Rosette, as we saw earlier today, that he only spent the weekends with Dad, right?
He spends the weekends, yeah.
And then he also said, but not every weekend.
Not every weekend, yes.
Okay. Now, there were also other family members at the scene right after, or actually during, the time that you were interviewing Jose Rosa, right?
Yes.
For example, his grandmother, right?
Yes.
Did you ask Jose Rosa, what part does the grandmother play in your son's life?
No, because that was assigned to another detective who was dealing with the grandmother.
Okay. Now, did you go over to the detective and say, make sure that you ask the grandmother if he takes any medication? Did you do that?
The detective, in this case, interviewed him. Again, the grandmother told the detective that he was a great student, had no mental difficulties, was very intelligent, and so forth, so on. So the medical aspect of it, no, I didn't ask, but really would be irrelevant to me at that point.
I understand. Did you tell the detective that was conducting the interview of the grandmother, make sure you ask her if her grandson likes to indulge in alcohol? Likes to drink?
No, I didn't instruct her to ask that, if that's what you're asking.
Did you ask the detective that was interviewing the grandmother, make sure you figure out if her grandson is a drug user?
The best way I can answer your question, okay? When I meet with the defendant, that he sits in front of me, I start evaluating him. I check out the speech to make sure it's not slurred, his body posture to make sure that he's upright and not slouched, that he is not mumbling, slurring his speech, he has bloodshot eyes, a smell of alcohol emerging from his breath. That's how I evaluate whether they're under the influence of alcohol or narcotics.
I understand, sir. That's when you're actually interviewing the suspect, right?
Yes.
Right now we're talking about the background of the suspect, right?
I never asked the detective to ask that because I was going to evaluate him myself, face to face.
Now, you did learn, however, that his grandmother, Derek's grandmother, was the mother of the victim in this case, right? You learned that right away.
Yes.
Now, prior to, I remember Mr. Morse discussing protocol in children interviewing adults. Prior to the interview of Derek Rosa, was it your understanding that there would be a difference in the protocol?
As far as what?
As far as technique, as far as tactics, based on the fact that he was barely 13 years old, was it your understanding that protocol did a difference versus interviewing an adult, for example?
What I did is I took extra care in explaining to him his Miranda rights to make sure that he knew. But the interview is pretty much the same. The only time a juvenile's interview would be different is if they were nonverbal or something, where they would do like a forensic type interview, and that's for younger ages. But you don't really interview a juvenile that can communicate and all that any different than an adult.
Okay, so the answer is no, the protocol does not change between adult to juvenile, right?
Does not change.
Okay. Now, did you tell his father, Jose Rosa, that you were about to go interview his son and that he could be present?
No, I did not, nor did he mention that he wanted to be present in his son's interview.
Did you have any indication that he knew that you were about to go interview his son?
I don't know. The investigation was ongoing, but he didn't inquire, didn't ask to be present during an interview.
Now, as far as you're concerned, before Derek Rosa's interview, you are the only person that interviewed Jose Rosa, correct?
Before, then
Before the
after,
interview.
then after, yes.
Okay. Did you ask Jose Rosa if Derek Rosa had any prior experience with law enforcement interrogations?
No.
Did you ask Jose Rosa if Derek Rosa had any prior experience, period, interactions with law enforcement?
No.
Did you ask Jose Rosa if, in his opinion, Derek Rosa would feel more comfortable if he was there, if his father was there?
No.
And by there, I mean during his interview.
No.
Did you ask Jose Rosa if he was in any way opposed to interviewing his son?
No.
Now, Mr. Force mentioned that A.S.A. Morales was also present during the interview, right?
Yes.
A.S.A. Morales was also present about 1:45 during the, let's say, the group meeting at the complex, correct?
I believe so.
And now, I remember from your deposition, you told me that A.S.A. Morales was there to guide you for direction. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that direction, I would imagine, tell me if I'm wrong, would be direction on the law, right?
That would be assistance with search warrants, any legal issues that we might bring up, and they're to guide us.
Did you ask A.S.A. Morales at any point if you should have Jose Rosa present for Derek Rosa's interview?
No.
Did at any point Ms. Morales tell you we should have Jose Rosa present for Derek Rosa's interview?
No.
Now, prior to the beginning of the interview, it was your opinion that no one else was present during the commission of the murder, right?
Yes.
That it was only Derek Rosa and he was the only person that committed this murder, right?
I knew that there were 3 occupants inside the apartment during the murder. It was Derek Rosa, his infant sister, and the victim.
Did you, and you knew this before the interview, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, did you ask A.S.A. Morales if perhaps Derek Rosa should be medically attended to at Amelia Oaks?
No.
Or even back at headquarters?
No.
Was there a doctor or anybody, medical staff at headquarters that would have been able to render medical assistance to Derek Rosa?
He did not need medical assistance. He was asked if he had any injury or something, and he stated no. And I did not see any injury. I did not see him under the influence or anything that would require medical condition.
That's not my question, sir. My question is, did you have anybody at headquarters that would have been able to render medical assistance to Derek Rosa?
Are you talking a doctor? Because I could render medical assistance. I trained in first aid, if that's what you're asking, or CPR and all that.
Did you ask him if he needed anything?
We asked him if he was injured. He said no.
Who's we?
Myself and Detective Gonzalez when we were interviewing him.
And the interview you're referring to is what we watched this morning?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you in exchange with Derek Rosa that we did not see this morning?
No.
Other than yourself and your CPR training, was there anybody else qualified to offer Derek Rosa medical assistance at, let me finish please, at headquarters?
Every single officer that was there would have been able to provide first aid. If you're talking about a doctor, no, we don't have a doctor at the station.
Was there any EMTs at the station?
No.
Other than the autism training that Mr. Morse questioned you about, do you have any other specialized training in mental health?
In mental health? No.
Was anybody else at the station that was present, as far as you know, have any specialized training in mental health?
I couldn't tell you.
While he was on scene, Derek Rosa, for those almost 2.5 hours in the patrol car, did anyone ask him if he wanted to speak to his father?
I don't believe he was asked that, but he did not request to speak to his father. That I'm sure of.
During the time that he was in the cop car at Amelia Oaks, did anybody ask him if he wanted to speak to his grandmother?
I don't believe so, but again, he did not request to speak to any family member.
Do you have any indication that Derek Rosa knew while he was in that cop car that he could ask to speak to his father?
He didn't ask, and that's all I can tell you.
Now, I want to discuss briefly Jose Rosa's interview, which starts about 1:50 a.m. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Now, you started the interview, you have a transcript in front of you, feel free to follow along. Derek, at 1:54 in the morning, you told Mr. Rosa, Derek is the mother of the lady that oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, sure. But you're reading from something. Is the actual video in evidence?
I thought
Okay.
well, you don't
And you're reading from a document that's not in evidence. You're not impeaching the witness. You're not refreshing his recollection. And I have no idea what that document is. So could we be a little more formal about the use of materials, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
So let's start with what is it and do you want the evidence?
We have pre-marked it, Your Honor. I am reading my own notes on Jose Rosa's interview, and it is 3A. Well, it's under defense A1.
We just had A1 introduced as
A.
Which was a totally different piece of evidence.
Judge, there are, I believe, 8 items in that USB.
La evidencia la tiene el juez, nomás que se está haciendo el que no contaba con ella. Está mintiendo. La tuvo en su escritorio por varios días.
Do you have a copy of this USB that contains 11 different apparently video clips? Well, no, video clips, there's a WhatsApp, there's school records. Do you have all of this?
They did, the defense did show me the USB, and I looked at all the files that were labeled on the USB, and to the extent that everything that they have, we believe we have too.
Damas y caballeros, el juez se acaba de ridiculizar a él mismo.
So at this point, unless I see something other than what I've seen so far, I have no reason to doubt that we're on the same page.
So your agreement earlier that Exhibit 1A should come in was because you knew it would be accosted by the
Correct.
Would you mind taking a look, sorry for the delay, but there needs to be a record above, it needs to be a lot cleaner than what's here. Would you mind taking a look at all the things that are here to determine if in fact you have any objection to their introduction as evidence? And just as a courtesy, Ms. Riello, if you're going to read a document to him, it needs to be in this record and it needs to be copy to be available from me. Okay?
Yes, John.
Y'all work on this, we've got 5 minutes.
All right.
Bueno, en este momento se van a break, se van a ir a un descanso. ¿Quiere Zoe platicar primero?
Sí. Él interrumpió porque quiere que todo esté en record. Ella se retira del micrófono y no se escucha para que lo pongan en un transcript, que después lo vamos a ver nosotros, claro. Entonces, si no están las palabras correctas cuando la muchacha esté haciendo el docket o los documentos que vayan a poner legalmente en record, ¿sí? Entonces, por eso quiere que se acerque al micrófono, que no se desvíe del micrófono. Y ahí está la Morales viendo los papeles de Rielo. Rielo, cuida tus papeles.
Ok, mira, déjame ver.
Mira, lo que pasa es esto. No es que él interrumpió. Lo que pasa es que está ridiculizando porque él no vio el binder, no vio el USB.
Sí, él acaba de decir que...
Ajá. Y el Jonathan le dijo que ahí estaba todo, que todo lo que ella está diciendo no está fuera de lo que ella dijo que iba a presentar.
Así es. Aquí
lo que está viendo es lo que ella acaba de mencionar ahora.
Bueno, aquí lo más positivo de todo es que no están objetando. La doctora Rielo está arrinconando a este detective. Muchas irregularidades, entre ellas no asegurar
que no es Morales, que es Medina.
Sí, así es. La doctora Medina, la de azul, es Medina. Este detective se está arrinconando, demostrando que está mintiendo y que nunca le ofrecieron ningún tipo de asistencia médica a el niño, ni fueron capaces de hacer un análisis de cuál era su capacidad mental antes de empezarlo a cuestionar, y de que a su padre nunca le ofrecieron el estar acompañando a el niño. Ahora recordemos que la entrevista con el padre fue grabada, y si hay un detalle donde el padre preguntó por la dirección a cómo dar con su hijo, y si alguien le mintió, eso quedará evidenciado completamente. En este momento ese tema no se va a tocar porque la audiencia es para suprimir o quitar el interrogatorio, que no vaya a juicio el interrogatorio que le hicieron al niño en el cuarto de interrogatorio. Para eso es esta audiencia.
Sí, la azul es la doctora Descalzo.
Sí, gracias por el millón de tap, muchísimas gracias. Y gracias también por mantener los comentarios limpios, se les aprecia mucho. Gracias a toda la gente que nos está dando seguimiento por primera vez. Bienvenidos a este en vivo. Gracias por estar aquí apoyando.
Voy a aprovechar los 6 y ir a cambiarse el pamper.
Dígalo.
Que debería aprovechar y ir al baño a cambiarse el pamper.
Oh. Sí, claro, a cambiarse el pañal, ¿no? Porque sí está en bastantes aprietos. Sí, en este momento él está texteando con alguien, él está respondiendo a alguien mensajes. En este momento, exactamente como lo hizo esa madrugada, y me está negando.
Él debería aprovechar en 5 minutos, a lo mejor si se apura le da el tiempo.
Pero recuerda que todo lo que él está, ese teléfono que él trae, todo está monitoreado. De ahí sacaron los WhatsApp, de ahí sacaron lo que recibió y que no recibió. So, él tiene que tener mucho cuidado ahorita porque lo que está escribiendo ahorita lo pueden sacar en la cara.
Sí, ya a esta altura cualquier movimiento que
ya se dio cuenta
haga,
que le... Ajá. Sí.
Sí, ya se dio cuenta él que lo están viendo, ¿verdad?
Sí, se dio cuenta que todo movimiento que haga en su teléfono, eso se va, eventualmente le va a salir, ya lo tienen, cómo sacarlo, ¿no? Sin tener que quitarle el teléfono. Bendita tecnología de hoy.
Cuidado quien le escriba, cuidado quien le escriba.
Ajá.
Toda esa postura que adquiere el Osegui es normal o no, porque
no, se está desmayando.
Está tratando de relajarse, él está tratando de verse relajado, porque por dentro no está relajado. Es el stance que toman cuando quieren verse así como que todo bien, o sea, y no está todo bien.
No, yo no creo que le esté tratando de demostrar eso. Yo creo que él de verdad se está desmayando.
Pues lo que tiene es la
alguien
cosa
puso
así.
aquí, llamen un rescue para el Osegui, y yo estoy de acuerdo completamente. En serio, el tipo tiene que haberle bajado la presión, tiene que estar
La azúcar se la ha bajado.
La azúcar, la presión, la sal, todo tiene que haberle bajado.
También por aquí en el en vivo, aquí en el en vivo hay una alma misericordiosa que le ofreció poquita agua.
A la Morales también yo dije, señores, denle agua.
Ella toma mucha agua, es un camello.
Lo necesitaba también.
Ahí viene lo de ella, ¿no? Ahí viene todavía lo de ella, ¿no? Que estaba ahí metida.
Vio el... Espérate, déjame ponértelo un momentico.
La descubrieron que estaba y fue a dar allá a la escena del crimen y no sirvió para nada. Eso la descubrieron. Fue para nada, porque no aportó que el niño necesitaba un abogado, no aportó
voy a abrir cámara un momentico.
No aportó nada.
Más. No sé si se va a ver porque yo sé que Tiche no me puede poner en grande. Pero voy a abrirlo un momentico. Mira lo que puso. Ah, sí, mira.
El lunes el cuerpo lo sabe. Happy Monday.
Bueno, ya están regresando a la sala. Voy a subir el volumen. Andrea 26, ¿cuántos miran la nube? Yo acá cuento 436, aparte de 433. Ya le ofrecieron agüita en los Segui.
Esa no fue la Morales.
No, la Morales no va a soltar su agua, la necesita.
During the break, I received a copy of the state's evidence list as well. And the state, there are 2 USBs. One contains 8 items, and USB 2 has been pre-marked and it contains 3 items. They're all BWCs, Your Honor. The state does not have an issue with it. I'd like to introduce the second USB at this time.
All right, so USB 1, which is Defense Exhibit A, contains apparently 8, nope, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 different items on it. I see there is the Acosta body-worn camera, the Casa Mayor body-worn camera, the Jose Rosa interview, the Los Seguin body-worn camera interview, the Gonzalez body-worn camera interview, which is already in the state exhibit, Miranda form, Mui, WhatsApp, Santos, Concha body-worn camera, school records, and Valdez body-worn camera. That's Exhibit A. And apparently you have a second USB. Was that admitted under the same exhibit number? Do you have an objection to the 3 items on the second USB? No. So then that'll be admitted as Defense Exhibit D, and that contains the Gutierrez body-worn camera, the Moya body-worn camera, and the Rico body-worn camera. Is that correct, parties?
It is strong.
Good. So now we have a record of what it is that's actually been introduced into evidence. And I'm wondering if you were going to utilize a document that there be some hard copy provided so that I can take a look at it.
Sure, Your Honor. It's really just the video. Yes, Your Honor. So these are my notes, but the video speaks for itself. I can play the video.
Okay, super. Ms. Dara, you want me to hold on to this?
Yeah, Judge, that's your copy.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you may proceed now.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I guess I should start when I walk in here and keep forgetting. The record reflects the presence of the defendant here with us for great counsel. Continue.
Detective, you mentioned that you conducted the interview of Jose Rosa, correct?
Yes.
And you started that interview at 1:50?
Yes.
And that interview was recorded on your body with camera?
Yes.
Okay, now at this time, I'm going to play for you a portion of that interview, which was then admitted as Defense Exhibit 2. B.
Starting at 1:54:11.
Of the lady who
Trate de no ponerme caritas enojadas, por favor, gracias.
09, please. We're going to start at 1:54:09.
is the mother of the lady who got stabbed, right? What lady? The lady from here. The one that was injured. I don't know if anybody was injured. Okay. There is someone that's injured here, just so you know. I believe it was Derek's mother. Derek lives with his mother, yes? Okay. And he's with me as well. Okay, so his mother, what is his mother's name? Irina. I-R-I-N-A. Okay, Irina. And what's Irina's last name? Garcia. Garcia? Yes. Was injured by Eric. I can't tell you, Eric.
Stopping at 1:55:16. Detective, the interview begins with you telling Jose Rosa, Derek is the mother of the lady that got stabbed. Did you just hear that?
Derek is the mother of the lady that got stabbed.
Correct.
Yeah, that was a slip on my part.
And Jose Rosa, confused, right? He seemed confused?
At first,
When you said to him the statement that I just repeated, did he seem confused to you right then and there?
to some degree, he just needed clarification because it wasn't making sense.
He asks you what lady, right?
Yes.
And then you respond, the lady from here, the one that was injured.
Yes.
Then you tell him, Irina was injured by Eric. Right?
Yes, I was then corrected Derek.
Well, he said that he's confused again, right?
Yeah. Then
He being Jose Rosa.
then I say Derek.
And he says, Eric? And then you go back and ask him further questions about Derek, right? That interview did not last more than 10 minutes, right?
The complete interview?
Correct, sir.
I don't know the exact time.
If we could play the same video for the detective, just fast forward to timestamp 1:50. 8:30, going to 8:30. Claim 158:30.
It's kind of hard to process. You're saying that Irina got stabbed?
Yeah, she got stabbed, yes. You know, we're trying to get the...
How many times?
I have no clue because we just got here and we have other people working that aspect that are going to report to me and I'll let you know. Now, let me ask you something. Never any psychological problems. Has he ever told you any problems that he's had at the house? Has he been upset about anything lately?
No. Nothing. As a matter of fact, I can't even process what you're saying about him stabbing his mom. I can't believe that. That's not Derek. You sure there was nobody else in the apartment?
Again, the investigation is still early. We're going to get all those answers for you, okay?
I can't even understand that. That doesn't make any sense. This kid has lost his mom to death.
Yeah.
Is she stable?
I'm going to find out everything for you right now, okay? Wait right here because I'm going to go talk to the...
Can I stand outside the car?
Yes, that's okay, sure. Okay? Yeah.
The interview ends at exactly 2 a.m. Did you see that?
Yes.
Did you, in fact, confer back with Jose Rosa and provide him any further feedback, whether he was stable? Did you ever get back to him on that?
No.
Did you ever talk to him at all after that?
No. Some other detectives did.
Now, shortly after that, exactly 12 minutes, I can play the audio on camera if you like, you leave Amelia Oaks and you head back to headquarters, right?
Yes.
And headquarters is only 3.1 miles from Amelia Oaks, right?
Yes.
You get there relatively quickly?
Yes.
Now, when you leave, Jose Rosa stays back at Amelia Oaks, right?
Jose Rosa, yes.
Derek Rosa had the patrol car that Derek Rosa was sitting in left at 2:06 a.m. prior to when your car left, right?
I believe so.
Derek Rosa gets to the station at 2:18 in the morning, right?
I believe so.
Now, before I get to the waiver, I want to talk about the pre-interview. The room that Mr. Forrest had you described earlier. When you're conducting the interview, the door is shut, right?
Yes.
Derek is not free to leave.
No, he's not free to leave.
Excuse me, Detective. You and Detective Gonzalez are armed, right?
Yes.
There's another detective outside of the interview room, I believe it's Detective Perez.
Yes.
There's other people walking around, right?
Yes.
And both you and Detective Gonzalez are taller than Derek at that point.
Yeah.
I don't want to ask you how much you weigh, but you also outweigh him, both you and Detective Gonzalez, right?
Yes.
Before the interview started, did you ask Derek Rosa if he had that it is possible to consume alcohol and not smell like alcohol?
I did not have any indication that he was under the influence of anything. Had his body motions been different, his speech slurred, instability, so forth, so on, I would have gone and proceeded to ask him, but he did not show any signs of impairment whatsoever.
That's not my question, sir. You would agree that someone could consume alcohol and not smell like alcohol?
Cuidado, porque con esa pregunta la doctora va a afirmar algo importante.
You're going to smell like alcohol if you consume alcohol. That's all I can tell you. You're asking me to make an assumption, which I'm not going to make.
No, I certainly don't want you to do that. It's really a yes or no question, or you can say, Mr. Hill, I can't answer your question.
I can't answer your question.
Thank you, sir. Now, did you breathalyze him?
No.
You couldn't, right?
There was no need to.
Could you have breathalyzed him if you wanted to?
It would have taken some work from a controlled breathalyzer unit and all that, but I saw no need to. So I guess, yes, anybody could breathalyze anybody, but I didn't see a need to.
Okay. Now, he never refused to take a breathalyzer, right?
I never asked him.
Okay. He never refused to being swabbed?
I never asked him.
Did you ask him if he was under the influence of anything? Forget alcohol. Anything else?
No, I never asked him.
Was he compliant?
He was very compliant and well aware of his surroundings and everything.
Was he obedient?
Yes.
He followed your orders?
He basically complied with the request. We didn't order him to do anything. We explained things to him, and then, for example, the Miranda, the signing of the Miranda and all that, it wasn't like you have to sign. An order I take as something that you're directed that you have to do. That wasn't the case here.
Do you remember asking any of his family members if they had been in the apartment that night?
No.
Do you remember later learning that his family members had been in the apartment that night?
Later on, yes.
Do you remember asking him specifically that question during the interview? Who had been there that evening? Do you remember that?
During the interview, we asked him who were the ones in that apartment at the time, and he said himself, his mother, and the infant at the time of the homicide.
Now, you would agree that whether we take your position, which is that Derek Rose stopped his mother, or another position, which is that he didn't, either way, that would have been a traumatic experience for Derek. Would you agree with that?
It's a situation which is hard for the normal person. I don't know what he felt at the time when he did it, because, he showed no signs of any psychological trauma while I was interviewing him. As a matter of fact, he showed no emotion.
You would agree that death is traumatic?
Death is traumatic depending on the recipient of the news and how they take it.
Do you remember, well, I think you mentioned that you did, but when I took your deposition April 21st, 2025, do you remember us covering this topic? This topic meaning, I specifically asked you if this, in your opinion, would have been a traumatizing experience for Derek. Do you remember me asking you that?
I don't
Wait, excuse me, are you objecting?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Proper question.
Yes, sir. No, you're impeaching him for a minute.
I'm just asking if you recall us discussing that. No.
Well, then that's sustained.
It's fine, I'll move on to take. Let's talk about the Miranda form, okay? Now, we started the interview at 2:39, correct? So the interview begins at 2:39 in the
Yes.
morning. And at 2:40 in the morning, Detective Gonzalez asks Derek what reading class he is taking. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Now, at that moment, Derek didn't have to tell Detective Gonzalez what reading class he was taking, right? He didn't have to answer. That's my question.
No, he didn't have to answer.
But he was cooperative.
Yes.
Now, at that moment, did you have any indication from Derek that he knew that he didn't have to answer that question from Detective Gonzalez?
He cooperated.
Is the answer no?
What's the question again?
At that moment, at that point, did you have any indication from Derek that he knew that he did not have to answer Detective Gonzalez's questions?
No, he never.
Wait, I'm going to object to the form of the question. I think it's maybe confusing.
Do you understand my question, sir?
Not really.
Okay, I can
That's
understand.
definitely, because I did. I know where you're.
It's okay.
Speaking of Seabrook versus Missouri, but go ahead.
Did he ever,
If to the extent he understand it.
Yeah, okay.
did he ever say to you, sir, I know I don't have to answer this, detective, but here you go, I'm going to tell you anyway.
No.
Did he ever say that?
Never said that.
Okay. Did he ever say, I know I don't have to read this form that you're presenting to me, but you know what, I'll read it. Did he ever say that?
No.
Okay. Detective Gonzalez. referring to as a form. Did you tell him, this is a Miranda form, a Miranda form is blank, and let me go through it with you? Did you tell him that?
I don't remember if it's in those specific words, but we advise him that we have to advise him of his rights and then have them, they're read to him and he has to read it.
At 24208, sir, you say, this is the form right here, okay? Did you see that?
Well, yes, this is the form that was being explained to them by Detective Gonzalez.
That's what you meant, right?
Yes.
Okay, but you didn't say that.
Well, obviously, he sees me get the form from there and then presents it to him, so he's got to know that it's the same form.
So at 24208, you say, this is the form right here, okay? That's the extent of it, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, at that point, Derek says, okay. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then you go to the very first line of that Miranda form, right?
Yes.
And you, at that point, you instruct him to read the first dot and then sign. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then you tell him, go ahead and initial this little dot right here for me. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And at 24230, he says, or he asks, initials. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then you respond, yeah, just write your initials. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And he says, I don't have initials. I just write my name. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then at that point you say, okay, whatever, right here. And that's at 24239, okay? Do you remember that? Now, what are initials?
Initials?
Yes, sir. What are initials?
Initials are like the first and last, first name, first letters of the name.
So if you have a name, you have an initial, right?
Yes.
If you have a first name, a middle name, and a last name, you have 3 initials, right?
Yes.
Okay. So did you explain to him at that point what initials were?
No, he told me he didn't have initials, that he would rather write his name.
You interpreted as rather, or he told you rather?
No, he told me that he didn't have initials.
Okay. But you knew that he did, right?
I understand, but you see, for someone, initials are used primarily on business documents or whatever legal forms and all that. I wouldn't expect really a 13-year-old at that point to use initials, so I didn't find that uncommon. He felt more comfortable with writing his name, and that's what I had him do.
And did he tell you, Detective, I feel more comfortable writing my initials? Or did he say, I don't have initials?
I think he said, I don't have initials.
Okay, and you never corrected him, right?
No, because number one is I took it as I don't use initials. That's how I understood it.
Now, this is an example, would you agree, of Derek telling you something that you know is not correct, or do you just go along with it?
No, this is an example of Derek telling me, this is sort of my opinion, that he does not use initials, he'd rather write his name, so I went with that.
Okay? And you went along with that because he was signing off, right? He was writing his name. Now, let's move on to the second line, sir. You read to him the fact that he has the right to remain silent. Do you see that on bullet point number 2?
Yes, I don't read it, he reads it himself.
Now, when he reads, you have the right to remain silent. Did you provide any further context to what he was reading?
No.
Did you ever say to him, Derek, the right to remain silent means you can stop talking right now, effective immediately? Did you ever say that?
I tell him that during the course of the Miranda rights form. At that point, I wanted him to acknowledge that he understood what he was reading, which is you have the right to remain silent.
Did you tell him, Derek, that right includes you not filling out this form? Did you tell him that?
No.
Now you move on to line 3 of 24307. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Now, for this particular line, Derek doesn't actually answer you when you ask if he understands it. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
Okay, if we can play Detective Osega's BWC starting at 243. Starting at 242-46.
Second line? The right to remain silent. Okay, you understand that? Yeah. Okay, write your name again if you understand that. Okay, read this line right here. Anything you say can and will be used against you here in court. Okay, you understand that? Go ahead, the same procedure, just go ahead with your initials.
Pause right there.
Or your signature.
243-15. Do you see Derek tell you that he understood that?
I see him nodding his head, if you want to play it back.
Do you hear Derek Rosa telling you that he understood bullet point number 3, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law?
No, I see his head going up and down, acknowledging a yes.
Did you ask him, Derek, why is your head going up and down? Does that mean you understand? Did you ask him that?
No, because we had already gone through 2 questions and I had given him instructions on what his signature meant that he understood the question. So I took his head going up and down as he understood. I did not ask him why he nodded his head. I took that as an acknowledgement of yes.
That's how you interpret it.
That's basically, this is yes, this is no.
Now, you didn't say, Derek, are you thinking of something that's making you nod yes?
No.
Okay. Now, bullet point 3, he reads, anything you say can and will be used against you in court. Did you ever explain to Derek what court is?
No.
Did you have any reason to believe that he knew what a court of law is?
I have had no reason to believe that he did or did not know what a court was.
Did at any point you have the attorney that was present in the room explain to him what a court of law was?
I did not want to confuse him and refer to Assistant State Attorney Morales as an attorney. Like that, there is no confusion that he would assume that she was there in his best interest. So as far as my belief is, you know, she appeared like a secretary in the corner taking notes, and that's how we left it. I never introduced her as an attorney.
Well, you never introduced her at all, right?
No.
Only yourself and Detective Gonzalez were introduced to him, right?
That's correct.
Now, that same bullet, number 3, did you ever explain to him what will be used against you means?
I just let him read that and acknowledge the fact that he knew and he signed it.
So that's enough?
That's enough.
Now, at that point, I heard you mention signature just now. He's still not signing this document, right? He's just writing his name.
He's writing his name.
Okay? We already covered the initials, but the signature, did you ever explain to him the difference between signature and just writing his name?
He felt comfortable writing his name, so that's where we left it.
That's how you interpret it.
Well, that's what he knew, felt comfortable with, and that's what we went with.
And you were fine with that because he was signing off, right?
I'm not there to explain to him how to sign or how to initial. You know, if he is comfortable with writing his name, he can write his name.
My point is, sir, so long as he filled this waiver form out, you didn't care if he understood initial, signature, you just wanted him to complete it.
I wanted him to go ahead and write his name if he.
Okay, now moving on to number 5. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning, if you so desire. Do you remember going over that bullet point with him?
He read it.
Okay. And again, you tell him to sign it, right?
Yes.
And he writes his name.
Yes.
Okay. And moving on to bullet point number 6, the last one, if you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you still have the right to stop answering at any time or until you talk to a lawyer. Do you remember going over that one?
Yes.
Now, this again, you don't, another example of you not even asking him if he understands it.
Correct. He's reading it, and if he has any question, he can go ahead and ask me.
Okay. And he reads it at 2:44:01. And he writes his name at 2:44:06. Fair?
Fair, yes.
Now, at this point, do you pause and say, tell me in your own words, what bullet, for example, what bullet point number 6 means? What does that mean, what you just read?
No, I didn't tell him that. I asked him if he understood, if he had any questions whatsoever. I didn't go bullet point by bullet point. He read it, he acknowledged, he signed, and if you see the body cam, I'm there extra cautious with him, and I go and explain real good to him as far as the right to have an attorney.
Okay, then after that, he reads off the conclusory paragraph, right, at 2:44:19.
Yes.
And then about 2:44:42, he struggles with the word coercion. Do you remember that?
Yes.
He struggles with the pronunciation and obviously the definition, right?
Yes.
And then at this point, you help him out?
Yes.
Do you have him at that point explain in his own words what he thinks coercion means?
No, I explained to him what the definition of the word coercion is.
And he stops, in fact, at 2:45 in the morning reading that conclusory paragraph. And you never even asked him if he understood what he had just read. Do you remember that? Okay, play it again.
No, he asked for clarification on one word. I gave it to him. And I believe he asked for clarification of a word attorney, which he understood to be a lawyer. Those are the only 2 questions he had.
we'll get to that. He also asked, do I have to tell you now? You asked him about the motive, right?
Do I have to tell you now?
Right.
Well, are you talking about before, after he lawyers up, or the first time that he wanted to go to the bathroom?
So he wanted to go to the bathroom. You mentioned that he just asked you 2 questions. He asked you more than 2 questions during the 23 minutes and change of the interview.
As far as for definition purposes or something he didn't understand, pertaining to the Miranda itself, coercion and attorney were the 2 questions. Now, the other things he asked, do I have to do it now or whatever, we're not talking about Miranda here. We're talking about something else.
Did you find yourself interpreting a lot of what he was saying?
No, he was real clear with what he was saying.
And when you say he was real clear, that's based on your observations, right?
Based on my observations, yeah. Definitely.
Now, at 2:45:20, you tell him if you want a chance to explain yourself, the only way that we would be able to take your statement is if you agree to talk to us without the presence of an attorney. If you do, go ahead and sign here. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And Mr. Morris asked you during direct examination if you had lied to Derek, and you said no, right?
That's correct.
But that is, in fact, that's a bold-faced lie, is it not?
No.
Okay, so Derek could not have lawyered up and then given you a statement?
I was not going to.
Disculpe que interrumpa, ¿me ayuda a no poner corazones rojos, por favor? Gracias.
End of story. Bye, Derek. Good luck, okay? I wouldn't take his statement if he would have requested a lawyer.
What do you mean by bye, good luck?
That wouldn't have been the end of it. It's by saying, that it would have been over.
Isn't it true that if he wanted to, he could have sat at that same station?
No, que no me ponga corazones rojos, por favor.
Cooperated with law enforcement.
Gracias.
Isn't that true? Sorry, it's a yes or no question. Or it's a, I can't answer that.
No, it's a, at that point, had he requested an attorney, which he knows he was entitled to because he, during the course of the interview, asked for an attorney and then we stopped the interview. So I have no doubt that he knows that he was entitled to an attorney. He never asked for an attorney.
Doesn't it happen all the time that defendants sit with police officers and their attorneys and give a statement?
Yeah, that's usually after the fact.
I didn't ask you once, sir. Doesn't that happen? Isn't that customary?
It's not customary, but it happens.
Okay, so couldn't he have been one of those people that sat with his attorney next to him, representing him, and giving you a statement? Couldn't that have happened?
It could have happened had he requested an attorney.
Would you have prevented that from happening?
No, had he requested an attorney, of course not.
Okay. Now, this is the part that you were trying to get to. 245:36, he asks, what is an attorney, right?
Yes.
And then at this point, you explain it to him and you draw the parallel to a lawyer. You ask him, you know what a lawyer is? It's the same thing. Actually, Detective Gonzalez does that, right?
Yes.
And then at that point, you interpreted that he understood what a lawyer is, right?
Yes.
And did you ask him, tell me what a lawyer does in your own words?
I explained to him that a lawyer is someone that can represent him with legal matters. Then Detective Gonzalez says, you know what a lawyer is? It's a lawyer. And then he understood.
I'm sorry? Okay, Detective Gonzalez says, you know what a lawyer is? It's a lawyer? Is that what you're saying?
It's a lawyer, yes.
Right, a lawyer's a lawyer. Now, there was a lawyer in the room, right?
Yeah, there was a lawyer.
Okay, did you ever say to him, Derek, there's in fact a lawyer in the room. She's sitting right there. Miss Morales, why don't you tell Derek what you do versus what a defense attorney does? Did you ever, let me finish, sir. Did you ever do that?
No, I did not, because I did not want to mislead him in thinking that Miss Morales was there to represent him.
She could have explained that. In fact, she was not. She represents the state, right? She could have, let me finish, sir. Could she have done that at that moment?
No, I explained it. She could have, but I did not think it was appropriate, so I explained what a lawyer was.
He could have also talked to you in front of his father, right?
Had he requested his father, I would have had his father there, yes.
That wasn't the only time he could have given you a statement.
Excuse me?
That was not the only time that Derek Rosa could have given you a statement. It's yes or no, or I can't answer.
Sustained.
Do you understand my question, sir?
Ma'am, I just sustained.
Oh, I apologize.
You move on to your next question.
Sure, I can do that.
El juez ya no quiso que dis-
You're talking? Yes. Okay. And at that point, Gonzalez asks him for his address. You remember that?
Yes.
He doesn't know his address.
Yes.
Yes, he does not know his address.
That's correct.
Okay. He also doesn't know his phone number.
That's correct.
Okay. And you heard on the 911 call that he was instructed by the operator to not answer to his stepfather. You heard that, right?
Yes.
And for all you knew, his stepfather cohabitated with him, right?
Yes.
Okay, so last, that he tried to pick up to an adult, he was instructed not to, correct?
Does he what?
The last time that Derek Rosa tried to communicate with an adult other than law enforcement, that evening, he was instructed not to at 11:37 on the 911 call. Did you hear that earlier today?
Yes.
Okay. 2:48 in the morning, Detective Gonzalez asks if he goes back and forth between mom and dad's home. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then Derek says at 2:48:34, it's really hard to explain. Do you remember that?
Yes.
The hard explanation was that he goes on the weekends, but not every weekend, right?
That's what he explains.
Okay. But to him, that was really hard to explain. Correct?
I can't say that he explained it.
I'm not asking you to interpret this right here, is what he verbalized, so you don't have to interpret this. My question is, when he said to you, it's really hard to explain, did you mean that for him, it was hard to explain when he went back and forth between mom and dad?
That's the words that came out of his mouth. I don't know what he was trying to explain or insinuating there, but he did explain, the arrangements.
Now, his father's address, when he's asked, he also doesn't know his father's address, right?
He knows it's Broward County.
He knows the county, but he doesn't know the address, correct?
Correct.
And then at this point, 2:51 in the morning, that's when Detective Gonzalez asks him, who was all there? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And he answers, me, my mom, and my sister. Do you remember that?
Yes.
But you later came to find out that evening, those were not the only individuals over there, right?
No, that question was geared to who was there at the time of the murder.
Okay, and when you say here, again, we're interpreting, right? Because it's not explicitly said. Is that what you mean?
It's who was there. Who was there, and he himself didn't say there was any other family member there or nothing. He says, I was there, my baby sister was there, and my mother was there.
Correct. Did you give him a time frame? Derek, who was there between 10 p.m. and 11:31 when you called 911? Did you do that?
No.
Did you say, Derek, who was there between 7:15 p.m. and 10:47 p.m.? Did you do that?
No.
¿Por qué te atoraste? Lo seguí.
I want to move on to 251:11, please. You mentioned to Mr. Morris, in your opinion, Derek was emotionless, right?
That's what it appeared to me, in my opinion.
And In your opinion, was he emotionless because he wasn't crying?
He was emotional. He wasn't showing any emotion whatsoever as far as what he had done. You know, he wasn't crying. He wasn't shaking. You know, he was there rather stone-faced, answering questions.
Did it seem scripted, robotic to you?
Scripted?
Did it seem scripted?
No. I believe he told the truth.
Okay.
He was cooperative, but he did not show any emotion that I would expect from someone who butchers his mother.
Did it seem robotic to you?
No.
Did it seem scripted, the manner in which he's presented?
No.
Would you agree that there's so many reasons for someone coming off, for lack of a better expression, the way that he was coming off? There's more of one explanation for appearing to not have emotion. Would you agree with that?
I am giving you my opinion as far as what I observed. So that's basically it.
Would you agree that people express emotion differently?
Yeah, there are people who express emotion differently.
And would you agree that sometimes, depending on mental health issues, for example, that can affect the manner in which someone expresses themselves? Would you agree with that?
I say people can express themselves differently. I agree with you. As far as my observation, I saw no emotion, and that's what I'm saying. That's my opinion.
2:58, he asks to use the restroom. Remember that?
Yes.
And when he's done using the restroom, you give him an order to not wash his hands.
Absolutely.
And he complies with that order, right?
Yes.
And you give him another order right as soon as he walks out the bathroom. You say, go left. You remember that?
Yes.
And he goes immediately left, right?
Yes.
In fact, he was wrong, because what you meant was go straight and then left, right?
Yes.
But he didn't interpret. He followed exactly what you told him, right?
I told him left before we left the bathroom. Out of the bathroom, it would have been left, is what I told him.
And that's what he did.
Yes, but then he also made another left, interpreting a left, and that's when I had to tell him to go, no, keep on straight.
You'd agree the video speaks for itself?
That speaks for itself, absolutely.
Now, fast forwarding to 3:04:16. This is when you tell Derek, yeah, get it off your chest. Absolutely. Do you remember that?
Yes.
When you tell him that, what was the intention behind telling him?
To go ahead and let it out, because I see that he was holding back and just, it's an expression, get it off your chest.
But this had to do with the motive, right?
The motive, yes.
Because you didn't have a motive.
No, we never got a motive, no.
You still don't have a motive.
No, because he lawyered up.
The motive is a huge question mark here, right?
Yes, I can only have an opinion as far as what I believe the motive is, but it is a question mark.
You tell him, get it off your chest, absolutely.
Yes.
That timing was, again, not the only opportunity that Derek would have had to sit down with law enforcement and speak to you about his case. Isn't that correct?
I'm sorry, what was the question again, please?
I'm going to object. I think that the question is misleading.
What was the question again, please?
That would not have been the only opportunity that Derek would have had to sit down with law enforcement and discuss.
That's already been asked and answered after then. Go on to your next question.
Thank you, sir. Now, at this point, he asks you, it's 3:04:20, and he asks if he can wait for a lawyer. Do you remember that?
Yes.
But then he says, maybe not. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Earlier you said he unequivocally invoked his rights. Do you remember that?
When he mentioned the lawyer.
Hold on, sir, before you move on to that. Do you remember earlier, before you give your explanation, do you remember earlier testifying that he unequivocally asserted his rights?
I'm objecting. It's a fact on evidence. have to see it.
Do you remember that?
Using that word.
Sir, did you say that? If you recall?
I can't recall.
Yes, recall saying that.
That's fine, sir. Now, when he's saying maybe not, did you interpret that he was second guessing himself?
I, at that point, made it very clear to him that he had mentioned the word lawyer, that we weren't there to advise him or not as far as his legal, whether to have an attorney or not. He had to make an educated decision, but at that point, what I did is I asked him, do you want us to stop the interview? And he said yes, and at that point, the interview was eliminated, it was terminated.
Before you stop the interview, my question is, when he says, can it wait for a lawyer? And then he says, maybe not. Did you interpret that to mean that he was confused?
No.
Now, I want to move on to 305. 305.12, this is when you believe that your mic is off. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And this is when your mic actually beeps, right? And Gonzalez says, are you still on, Joe? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then you say, no.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now, at this point, you step outside. It's 305. Actually, if we can just get the video up. Let's start it at. We can start it at 5 o'clock. And I'm almost done. So, wait.
Bueno, como podemos ver, está completamente acorralado. Él no quiere admitirlo, pero ya se evidenció que así es en efecto. Le robó su derecho a pedir un abogado y manejó las cosas demasiado mal. Nadie creía en la doctora Rielo. Toda la gente creía que un abogado de defensa no debe hacerle preguntas a un detective nuevo, pero el mismo juez Richard Hurt en la audiencia del 14 de diciembre del 23 le dijo: doctora Rielo, pare, todo eso que le está preguntando ahorita ya se lo preguntará en la audiencia de supresión del interrogatorio. Para aquel entonces todavía no había ninguna moción de supresión y el juez ya la estaba previendo. Esto quiere decir que el juez admite que el interrogatorio había sido legal. Desde el 23 el juez ya lo veía venir. Siga compartiendo a sus amistades que no siguen el caso de R. Rosa, sígales compartiendo el en vivo para que vengan y vean esta injusticia. A las personas que creen en los servidores públicos alrededor de Estados Unidos, tenga mucho cuidado en lo que cree. No todos caminan por los senderos de la honestidad.
Stopping at 3:06:53.
Before I start asking about this, sir, during December 14th, 2023, when we were here and I was asking about the interview, you didn't provide us with that body-worn camera, right?
I'm not sure. But I'm going to turn to the questions misleading. It states that the discovery is not detective.
I guess the question would be, did you have that body-worn camera at that time now? Did you? That's my question to you.
No, sir.
So the answer is no.
The answer is no.
His responsibility is to inform the state that it exists. Their responsibility is to provide it to you. So he has no responsibility to provide that to you in December of 2023. And I'm not exactly sure why that's relevant to what we're dealing with right now.
Sure.
Could you move on to your next question?
Sure. December 2023, when we were here in the same courtroom, the
Ahí lo va a
body
decir lo que acabo de decir.
was not yours, correct?
I don't remember what body cam it was, like to tell you the truth.
We didn't address this December 14th of 2023, right?
No, we did not.
It was Detective Gonzalez's body camera, right?
I believe so. If this wasn't addressed, it had to be objection to relevance at this point.
Yeah. Is there something relevant about the fact that the body-worn camera was...
I'll move on now.
Oh, okay.
Do you know when you turned over your body-worn camera to the state?
It got docked immediately, so it's not my responsibility to turn it over to the state. The department itself does it.
At 3:05:44, you walk up to Assistant State Attorney Morales, right?
Yes.
And at 3:05:48, you say, Wilbur is new at this.
Yes.
I wanted for him to get more detail rather than the coercion or bullshit questions. What's the word that you used?
Rather than what I was talking to Ms. Morales is, and by the way, Wilbur did a phenomenal job in the interview. Okay, and I will say that. However, it's a matter of style. What I would have done different is gotten more into the actual facts of the case as far as the actual action, and then going on to get a historical from him, which Wilbur did the opposite.
Sure.
But I would get the meat and potatoes of the actual act, the stabbing and everything first, and then go on to the actual asking about the family status, who was there, and all that. You know, just get the act first. It's a matter of preference as far as detectives, different styles, and that's all it is.
My question was, did you say coercion questions or bullshit questions?
No, it had to be bullshit. I would never say coercion.
Let's play it again.
Questions,
Let's go back to 3:05:45.
yeah.
I wanted for him to get more detail rather than the bullshit questions before.
That's what I said. I never said anything about coercion.
Okay, bullshit questions, okay.
No, bullshit, yeah, you said either or.
Yes,
So I
okay.
said bullshit.
So now we're clear. So rather than the bullshit questions that he had just asked, and by he,
No.
detective, hold on, sir, let me finish. You would have rather him go into more detail, right? It's a yes or no, or I can't answer, Mr. Freeland.
No.
So when you say, I would have rather him get more detail rather than the bullshit questions, what did you mean by that?
What I mean in bullshit questions is, you know, what school do you go to, so forth, so on. that's fine. But I would have gotten out quicker the fact that he stabbed his mother to death and all that, and then gone to his family life and everything. It's a matter of investigative styles and questioning and all that. Again, he did a phenomenal job, and it's just a matter of styles. By me saying bullshit questions, I meant questions that did not basically capture the stabbing and all that. You know, it's just a figure of speech. I thought I was off tape, and I just said bullshit questions. That's it.
Bullshit questions. You're not complimenting Detective Gonzalez when you talk about his bullshit questions, right?
No, he did a phenomenal job.
He rises, he's about to make an objection, he just needs to do it faster.
Objection as to answer your question.
Oh, on that grounds, overruled.
Go ahead.
You have other grounds? Sustain.
After you make that statement, rather than the bullshit questions before, Ms. Morales says, yeah, but it looks like we have enough though. Do you remember that?
That was played, yes.
And then you say, I know, thank God. Do you remember that?
Yes.
What was your interpretation of why Ms. Morales said, I think we have enough though? What did you interpret her to mean by that?
Well, remember, Ms. Morales at that point was in the process of reviewing search warrants, for the premises, DNA warrants and all that. So I took it as she was confident with the status of the investigation to proceed. That's how I took it.
And that's what you said, thank God.
Huh?
Is that what you responded by saying, thank God?
Yeah, thank God everything went well. Yes, in my opinion, everything went well.
Now, moving forward to 30631, you still think your mic is off, right?
Yes.
And then you said, and I thought I'd explain Miranda very carefully to him since he's so young, you know? Do you remember that?
I sure do.
What was the purpose of you saying that to Ms. Morales?
The fact that I would say went beyond what was required to ensure that he understood his Miranda rights. Because of his age, he was 13. You can't take that away from anything. So, I put that added measure to make sure that he was aware of his rights.
How long had he been 13 when you were questioning him?
I know that he was 13. I have a report here if you want me to look at his date of birth, but I know he was 13.
He was 13 for 2 months when you were questioning him. Is that fair?
Well, if you say that, yeah, I'm going to take your word at it.
When you say that Detective Gonzalez is new at this, what did you mean by this? Interviewing juveniles, or what did you mean by that?
No, I mean that Detective Gonzalez is not new to the unit because he has been there a long time, and he's a quite capable detective and a good interviewer. I just meant, I guess compared to me, homicide 21 years. So, anybody that's in the unit is pretty much new at it compared to the years I've been there.
At 306:53, right before you realize that your mic is still on, Detective Gonzalez says to Derek, we also have candy. Did you hear that?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
He didn't just get candy, he also got Taco Bell, right?
He got Taco Bell, yes.
Were those incentives to get him to be compliant?
No, he was hungry, and we fed him.
After the interview?
After the interview, he never mentioned that he was hungry before the interview.
Was it a reward?
That wasn't a reward.
You're trying to tell him good job?
By feeding him?
Yes, sir.
No.
By giving him candy?
No.
Would you agree that's a nice gesture to feed him Taco Bell, to give him Jolly Ranchers? That's a nice gesture, right?
Had I left him hungry here and not fed him, you would have been complaining about that.
That's not my question, sir.
Well, that's my answer.
Sir, please don't speak over me for the record purposes, okay? I'm going to ask the questions. You're going to answer yes or no. If you can't, just say, Ms. Real, I can't answer your question, okay?
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Would you agree that giving him Taco Bell after the interview and giving him Jolly Ranchers after the interview, it's a nice gesture?
Asked and answered. Now move to your next question. And I bet he's going to tell you, excuse me, I get to interrupt you. I bet he's going to tell you that if he hadn't fed it when he asked for it, you would have been complaining about him not feeding him. It appears to me from the record we have here that he was fed when he said he was hungry after the interview had been completed and after he had asserted his right to an attorney and his right to stop the interview. I'm going to ask you to move on to your next area, please.
Does the judge's statements echo your sentiments, Detective?
100%.
Here, take it. Now, at 3:06:58, your camera beeps again, and Gonzalez says, Joe, you're still on. Remember that?
Yes.
And then you say, and then Gonzalez says, I thought you turned it off. Right?
Yes.
And then you shut it off.
Yes.
Before that happens, so I skipped a part, Officer Gonzalez actually walks in while you're talking to Ms. Morales. You remember that? When you're complimenting, in your words, when you're calling this question bullshit, complimenting.
He was in and out. I believe I remember him coming out.
Okay, let's, if we can, Ms. Medina. Careful.
When he comes out of the office there, yeah, I remember him.
When you're talking to Ms. Morales about his bullshit questions, he comes out and you stop talking. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Did you not want him to hear how well you were speaking with him? Why did you stop talking?
Because I decided to stop talking.
Is it okay if I take a 2-minute? Actually, never mind. Let's just power through. Unless do you need a break, Detective?
No, I'm good.
Okay, you have water?
No, I'm good, thank you.
No problem. Detective, is it your understanding that ADHD is a learning disability? If you know.
I don't know.
Do you know what ADHD is?
Attention deficit disorder?
Yes, sir.
Very basically, very basic understanding of it.
Okay. I remember you testifying before that when you conducted the interview of Derek Rose, that you had never conducted an interview of a 13-year-old. Is that still the case today?
Of a 13-year-old murder subject.
Correct. Being accused
Yes,
of first degree
yes,
murder. Is that still the case today?
Yes.
And Detective Gonzalez had also never conducted an interview of a 13-year-old being accused of first degree murder, right?
That's correct.
Now, Detective, we watched a little bit of Deputy Gutierrez's body-worn camera this morning. Do you remember that, the transporting officer?
Officer Gutierrez, yes.
Yes, sir. He's now with DSO, right? He's no longer in the department?
I have no idea.
Have you seen him around?
No.
Okay. Now, you know, later you came to find out that Derek was rejected at the juvenile assessment center, right?
I believe that he got rejected, yes.
Okay, and that he was in fact Baker Act at about 7:50 in the morning?
Yes.
That morning? What is your understanding of the Baker Act, or the process? How does that happen?
The process of Baker Act?
Yes, sir.
The Baker Act, it depends on the state of mind at the time when you Baker Act them. You fill out a form, you send them to a Baker Act facility. Now, with the Hialeah Police Department, let's say you have a felony and the person appears to have some mental disorder, he will be arrested. And we let the facility know that he has mental issues and then let them handle it from there on.
They're usually Baker Acted at the jail, right? When I say they, adults.
Yeah, at the jail.
The felony, in essence, supersedes the Baker Act.
It does.
But they still get treatment at the jail.
I have no idea how that jail thing works after they leave our hands.
Okay. Is there a difference, to your understanding, of the protocol with juveniles? Meaning, does in juvenile cases, such as this one, would the felony also have superseded the Baker Act?
This magnitude of felony, yes.
Okay. And when Derek Rosa was rejected at the juvenile assessment center, you were not there, right?
I was not there.
And you had no connection, let's say, to Detective Gutierrez. You never kept in touch with Detective Gutierrez, correct?
Officer Gutierrez, no. He was on patrol.
Okay. Now, is it your understanding that the Baker Act process is an involuntary or voluntary process? Or commitment?
Baker Act, for a person to be Baker Acted, they have to refuse treatment, so it's an involuntary procedure.
And the law, the act itself allows for professionals such as yourself, for example, to initiate a Baker Act proceeding, right?
That's correct.
Just give me 1 second, I'm about to wrap up.
La doctora Rielo acaba de anunciar que ya casi termina.
Before I ask you my final questions, you did mention during your direct examination that Derek had told you that he had known Sweden for 3 years.
Yes, that's what he said in the statement.
Which would have been impossible because he had just turned 13, right?
I think that he mentioned that he known them for, I believe it was 2 or 3 years. He made reference to an age, I believe he said he was 10 when he first met him. So that would have been about 3 years.
Okay. Do you remember him saying since he was 10 or since he was 12?
I believe him since he was 10.
Since 10?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember him telling the operator that his sister was a week old?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
Did you have any concerns about his understanding of time?
No, I didn't have any problem.
Detective, you graduated from high school in 1980, right?
Yes.
Never went to college?
I took college courses, then the police academy.
You never obtained an associate's degree, for example?
No.
You went right into the force in 83?
Yes.
And you started your career as a reserve officer with the city of Miami Beach, correct?
That's correct.
You've been with HPD since 1993?
Yeah, but roughly 33 years, I forget, a long time.
Detective, the Hialeah Police Department is a proponent of a program called Autism Awareness Decal Program. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard it, yes.
Okay. Do you remember when that initiative began?
I don't know when it began.
Do you know what the program is about?
I have very little information on the program.
Okay, what do you know about it?
I know nothing about it.
Okay, would it surprise you to know that the purpose of the Autism Awareness Program is to alert emergency responders that a person with autism might be either in a vehicle who are at home. Would that surprise you?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your full question. Could you repeat it, please?
Would it surprise you to know that the Autism Awareness Decal Program is to alert, the purpose of it is to alert emergency responders that there is a person with autism in the home or the vehicle? Would that be surprising to you?
I have no information on the program.
Okay. Would it surprise you to know if that was the purpose of your department's program?
It would be news to me.
When did you receive your autism training?
I believe it was a couple of years ago.
If the program in fact accomplishes what the displayed purpose on your website states, which is to alert responders if somebody's autistic, in plain terms, if that is in fact the purpose of this program, do you think that that is a good initiative by the Hialeah Police Department?
I'm objecting. This witness has no personal knowledge, and I'm also objecting to the form of the question and relevance of this point.
Yeah, if he doesn't understand what the program is or what the basis of it is for, I think your objection is well taken, because it'd just be speculative.
Thank you. Detective, would you agree that not all mental health conditions are seen and heard?
I would venture to say, yeah, there's a possibility, but yeah, there's a possibility.
I have no further questions at this time. Thank you, sir.
Is there any regret? Yes, are you prepared to do that now?
Yes.
Are you okay going forward, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
La doctora Rielo se refiere que si le hicieron examen de alcohol. Ahorita vamos a hablar de eso. Ok, van a tomar un break. Muchas gracias por estar aquí conectados. Buenas tardes a toda la gente que nos está acompañando. Gracias por llevarnos al 1.2 millones de tabs. Se les aprecia muchísimo. Muchas gracias. 1.2 leo por acá, gracias a toda la gente que está compartiendo el en vivo.
1.3. Aquí dice 1.3.
Bueno, lo primerito que yo quiero preguntar es, ¿hay una razón específica por la cual preguntar si se le hizo un examen de alcohol o drogas a Derek Ross antes de interrogarlo?
Sí, porque brincaron protocolos. Cuando traes a un detenido y más con un caso como el de Irina, lo que le pasó, tienes que hacer todos los protocolos de drogas, sanidad, de todo. O sea, es un protocolo. Para poder que la interrogación no sea negada y que no sea debatida.
Muy cierto.
Porque si te faltan muchos pasos, perdón, si te faltan muchos pasos, entonces tú nada más te fuiste a la matanza. You went for the kill. You forgot the procedures around it. Olvido tú, se les olvidó los procedimientos alrededor de eso, ¿no? Y se fue derechito a la yugular del niño. O sea, sí, claro. no lo checaron, no lo verificaron, no se dieron cuenta si algo traía, daba nada. O sea, no se dieron cuenta de nada. Ellos no son especialistas en nada para determinar si el niño tenía una sustancia o no. No lo llevaron al hospital tampoco. Aparte ya lo pescó en una mentira. ¿Cómo dijo? A bold lie. A flat bold lie. Porque le dijo al Jonathan le dijo una cosa y ella le dijo otra cosa. Lo pescó una mentira.
Sí, ¿cómo se dice eso en inglés? Dígalo otra vez.
A bold lie. O sea, una mentira, pero bien así evidenciada. que no puede negarlo.
Oh, sí, una mentira bastante obvia. Sí, bastante obvia. Bastante obvia.
Ya. Y le dijo, te acabo de pescar una mentira, ¿verdad? A bold lie.
Bowl, así como lo escribió bien nivelado.
Sí, bold lie.
Nada más rapidito. Entonces, su pregunta de la doctora Rielo hacia si se le hizo el examen de alcohol o drogas antes de interrogarlo, ¿va con la finalidad, cree usted que va con la finalidad más de evidenciar lo que traía mucha prisa por interrogarlo? ¿O porque hay una sospecha de que pudo haber estado drogado? ¿O cuál de las dos cree que tenga más peso?
O sea, que se fueron a la yugular del niño, o sea, se fueron a lo que ya traían planeado, porque también le dijo que esa interrogación puede haber esperado para el día siguiente. ¿Por qué no esperó la interrogación para el día siguiente? Porque a las 2:40 y tanto de la mañana estaba interrogándolo. Y en realidad no estaban dejándolo, nada más le arrebataban las hojas, o sea, fírmale aquí, dale aquí, o sea, y también lo evidenció ahí. Está en la cámara, donde le quitaban al niño el papel sin que el niño, o sea, no alcanzaba a leer todo para cuando ya... Sí, le hicieron,
Lo pudieron haber drogado, yo también pienso eso.
Nada más rapidito, ¿qué opinan ustedes de que la doctora Rielo le pregunta a Elosegui, ¿por qué ella, siendo abogada, no le hizo la pregunta al niño? ¿Por qué la hizo usted? ¿Y qué le parece? ¿Qué tanto cree que afecte la respuesta a la determinación del juez?
¿Cómo? No entiendo,
Hubo un momento en que ella le preguntó a Elosegui ¿por qué usted tomó la determinación de hacerle saber o no si necesitaba un abogado? Cuando la abogada que estaba dentro del cuarto se lo pudo haber dicho.
Para marcar que él no es el experto en eso. Y que él es experta. Entonces, ¿para qué la tenías ahí si no le dejaste hablar? ¿Para qué estaba ahí? Si no participó nada, no ayudó el niño en nada, no hizo nada. ¿Con qué intención? Y lo dejó en el aire ella. ¿Con qué intención lo hiciste?
Como evidenciar que ella estaba con otra agenda. Ella traía otra agenda menos la de trabajar como fiscal.
Exactamente.
Ella estaba por otra razón, algo quería obtener ella de eso, ¿no?
Sí.
Bueno, pues eso quedará evidenciado en su momento.
Teacher.
Gracias, Alondra.
Qué increíble el lenguaje corporal de Elosegui.
Sí, claro. Y era importante para mí acercarle la cámara para que usted también lo viera en tiempo real, la reacción de él. Es muy importante porque se conjugan las palabras con lo que usted y yo ya conocemos de tanto tiempo y con esta toma de cercas de él. Todo se debe conjugar para nosotros hacer nuestro propio criterio y pensar lo siguiente: ¿qué criterio tomaría unos miembros del jurado?
¿Y ustedes creen que sí desestimarán la entrevista esa?
Bueno, ya lo pescaron con simplemente con que lo hayan pescado mintiendo en la cruzada de la examinación con Jonathan, lo que le dijo a él y lo que le dijo a ella, y ella le dijo, te acabo de pescar una mentira. Eso, y con el protocolo que no le hicieron una prueba al niño antes de sentarlo ahí. Otra de las firmas, de la firma del niño. Hay muchas cosas, con todo lo que ella estaba hablando, todo era con la intención de que todo eso estaba mal. El procedimiento estaba, todo lo que ella marcó, no lo hizo, no fue el cuestionamiento para verificar si lo hizo o no lo hizo. Ella tenía evidencia. Cada vez que ponía la televisión, el video, era porque ahí lo estaba evidenciando de algo, ¿no? También lo que hablaron hasta después, cuando ya habían salido del cuarto, Eli Morales, lo que hablaron, y también lo que traía él
una cámara prestada. No era de él.
Sí, así es, porque él dijo.
Lo evidenció en eso.
Sí, porque él dijo, yo lo
Ya empezó de nuevo.
Ya, todavía no hay nadie en la sala. Sí, él dijo, yo lo llevo al baño, pero él nunca lo llevó. Él nunca lo llevó. Pero él dijo, yo lo llevo.
Hablando con
y eso empeora las cosas, porque él se ofreció a llevarlo, pero hubo algo más importante que lo detuvo de hacerlo.
Por eso le puso el video. Le dijo, mira, pon el video. O sea, para que viera que él venía saliendo del baño con el niño. No era él.
Sí, aún no empieza, ustedes pueden escuchar, ahí se escucha la sala. Gracias a toda la gente que nos está apoyando. Bienvenida a Ricitos de Oro. Gracias a todos por estar aquí. Como pueden escuchar, todavía no hay nadie en la sala. Ahí se escucha el ruido en la sala. Se escucha nada más el ambiente. No hay absolutamente nadie ahí. Gracias a toda la gente por apoyarnos. Le encargo, por favor, no me ponga corazones rojos. Por favor, no lo haga. Ni en ni en ningún en vivo. No es recomendable. Mejor, ¿quiere ver corazones rojos en la pantalla? Péguenle a su pantallita para que salgan todos los corazones rojos que usted quiera ver que pasen por la pantalla, pero no los escriba con su teclado. Trate de no usar el emoji de corazones rojos, por favor. O en sí, en realidad, nada de color rojo, si es posible. No ponga caritas tristes en el en vivo, no ponga caras de enojado. Sé bien por qué se lo digo, es para proteger el en vivo, que TikTok no vea que le estamos mostrando algo que la tiene molesto, preocupado, aunque yo sé que sí, pero estamos transmitiendo para todos y es para protección de todos los demás. No hay que ser egoístas con toda la gente que quiere saber más sobre el caso de Rosa. ¿Por qué lo tenemos completamente en inglés? Porque así no perdemos detalle de lo que se está hablando. Aunque alguien pudiera tener una frustración porque no está en español, se entiende, pero por lo tanto ya regresamos. Ya no hay nada todavía, no hay ruido en la sala, están callados. Y están, y ya.
Regarding the information that Jose Rosa provided to you, did you have any reason to doubt or discredit the information that Jose Rosa was providing to you?
Not at all.
And in fact, given Jose Rosa's occupation, was there some assumption or presumption that he was familiar with the legal process?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Go back a question. Sure. I missed that for a second. Why would he be aware of the legal process?
Because of his occupation in law enforcement.
Be the father?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes, sir. And then there were some questions asking you, well, isn't it true, Detective Velasti, that you were interpreting certain things that it may not have been as clear as you believed it to be? Do you remember those questions?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you know anybody who nods their head up and down and means no? Do you know anyone that does that?
No.
Okay. And does that go for children as well, that when children are saying yes, in your experience as a human being on planet Earth, that when they mean yes, they nod their head up and down, and when they mean no, they shake it side to side? Is that your experience as a human being on planet Earth?
Yes, I take that as a yes, or the nodding as a no.
Okay. And so, although there were a few instances where, during the process of going right by right, where there wasn't a verbal acknowledgement, did you see him nodding in agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Detective. I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you.
Ya tiene más preguntas, Jonathan Wolf.
Would you call your next witness, please?
Judge Casillas, no additional witnesses. The only thing that is pending is I'll provide the defense flash drive that's marked 1D for identification purposes. I don't believe they're going to have an objection, and then I'll admit that.
What is on 1D?
1D has the pediatric records of the defendant. I had already spoken to your clerk, and the parties would be asking that because it contains medical information that it be under seal, since they are pediatric records. The other records on there are some schooling records and testing records. And so they're just confirming that everything on there they know
First,
about.
let me start with, is there any objection to it being admitted as evidence in the case?
Judge, again, we just received it, so we're taking a look at it before we can.
I can represent everything in it was materials the defense provided to the state.
And if that's the case, we have no objection. If John wants to do it like we did it last time with our USB, we have no problem doing that, but I have no reason to believe that what Mr. Morse is saying is not true.
It's identical.
Okay, the confidentiality of it is a little bit up in the air. All of this has been put at issue through the defendant's assertions of disability in some form or other. I need to review these. Okay, so they'll be admitted. We'll discuss the confidentiality tomorrow. Do you have an extra copy?
I don't, Judge, but I can easily forward it to Your Honor.
I have a board file, I can get that.
Okay, but also, there are materials on Defense Exhibit A and B that I've not seen that are now a part of the record. There's also the bottom of the camera. I really like to see Officer Gutierrez at the jack. Then let me turn to the defense, since yes,
I'm sorry, do you want me to make a copy of that file set as well?
all of them, if you would, and there's Rizzo, Cava, and the.
I have a larger copy, if it's okay, I could put all of them onto one.
That would be fine, thank you. So then, Mr. Boris, the state presented all the evidence that they want to. Some of it I have not yet reviewed. I would ask the defense whether they are prepared to go forward with any witnesses at this time.
Judge, at this time, I'd like to make one final attempt at Dr. Sperry. At Dr. Sperry.
Yeah.
I think it's just so bizarre. So if we can have
Office number. Interesting. And do you know where she lives?
her home address?
Yeah.
I mean, I know the state that she lives in, I know her office address. I don't know that I have her home address. No, I do not have her home address. I have her office address, not her home address. In Colorado. So we have maybe 2 minutes to figure that out.
Sure.
Thank you.
What's her office address?
I can pull that up here.
Ask Detective Gonzalez to find the information to appear within 2 hours of that.
Do you still need Detective Gonzalez?
I don't believe to be honest.
Okay.
Can we let him know he doesn't need to come back to speak? Yes. Okay. Nice to meet you. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Okay, better.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Where the request flash drive is duplicative of the seat, can I just put one copy, for example, of Gutierrez's body with him? Sure.
Stop the record for a moment. Ms. Riella, what numbers are you attempting to reach her? Because I've got several staff numbers at ASAP Sperry, the 2026 Affordable Community Connections Program.
Your Honor, I'm trying to reach her on her cell phone. I would be happy to write it down, but not on the record.
That's fine. I'm going to give you a couple of numbers that are right here on the internet. The executive director of the program is Woody Shemwell. You might want to call her at 928-587-9198. She might know where Dr. Sperry is. And there's another director, Danielle Vinson, at 256-763-8382. These appear to be brand new numbers, or current, because they're talking about their 2026 Community Connections program.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is the jazz. I'm going to always do that now.
That'd be terrific.
Your Honor, and to save everyone.
Do you have a 571-451-4380?
I will spell Your Honor right now.
This one's pretty.
Do you mind repeating that, Your Honor?
Sure. 571-451-4380.
Yes, that's the direct contact now.
There you go. It's also how you RSVP for the November holiday market.
Your Honor. Hi. I've spoken to the state, and they're in the interest of saving time, because Dr. Sperry is unavailable right now. As far as we know, they're willing to agree that we can rely on Dr. Sperry's children.
On the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we weren't on there.
I turned it off as we were doing telephone numbers.
Apologize.
No, that's okay, but it need to be.
Of course.
Yeah, it's a record. There we go. Okay, now we're on the record, and Mr. Rosa's case at 23-21321, let the record reflect the presence of Mr. Rosa. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. As far as Dr. Sperry, because she's unavailable to the extent that she's in Colorado, we haven't been able to reach her. We've conferred with the state, and they do not oppose to us using her deposition transcripts and relying on them for purposes of this hearing. I know that the court has already reviewed them, and if the court is willing to do that.
Yes, okay. They become a part of the record, however, and I understood that the state had previously filed a motion seeking confidentiality of certain portions. Where do y'all land on that?
I think that those portions would have to continue to be under seal at least.
Okay.
So we could submit
And they need to be designated so that the portions that are placed into the record in hard copy do not contain those. Okay, you'll have a hard copy available to put into the record tomorrow.
Yes.
Or I can start printing stuff out for you now if you need it right now. Okay. Do you anticipate calling other witnesses or presenting other evidence besides that which was done today and Dr. Sperry's deposition?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So how would you like to proceed from here?
Your Honor, you're the boss, not me, but...
See, I told you it was going to be great getting in this case. Well, I have to be candid with you. I read Dr. Sperry's deposition in a, I don't want to say cursory manner. I read them quickly. Okay. I'd like the opportunity to read them more closely, if I could. Because I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to be able to intelligently speak of them. Also, I'd like to take a look at the Jose Rosa interview. I have not looked at notes. I'm playing a little bit of catch up because there's 11 items here, 10 items on Defense Exhibit A, and another 3 items on Defense Exhibit B that become a part of the record, large portions of which I have not reviewed because they first came to this court today. Okay. And I'd like to review them. It's certainly the Gutierrez body-worn camera at the jack, because there was reference to him being Baker acted, and of course that occurs at the jail after the police are finished with their felony investigation. And I don't know how much it'll offer me, but I want to see what it does offer with regard to their assessment in determining why they Baker acted him, and whether that is relevant or has some bearing upon his mental state during the taking of the statement. So I need to review some stuff. So I'm not ready to do argument with you right now. Okay? There were other things that we could do today. I know that you wanted access to the court without a public record. I'm not sure that I'm willing to entertain that for the next half an hour or however long it takes, and then we would reconvene tomorrow, probably later in the morning, so that I have an opportunity to take some time and review what I need to, probably about 11 or so. And then I will take some argument with regard to this motion, and then hopefully be able to give you a ruling. I'm likely to do an oral ruling, and if need be, supplemented by writing later, but we'll see. Does that work for you guys? Yes. Okay. So we're in a position where you're asking me to close the courtroom to the public. I'll probably turn off our Zoom. You'd like us to, and I will hear from counsel in a confidential manner. Right. Anything else we need to do before we go to that?
The only other thing, Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
the protective order regarding the confidential AT&T records. There was a proposed protective order forwarded to the court on the 22nd. I have a copy of that. Yes, Your Honor.
You know, I have asked Ms. Rizzo to check, but apparently our chambers is not on the service list. I don't know why. Okay, but now that y'all know, if you want me to read it, you gotta send it to chambers directly. There's a motion for protective order. Whose motion is that?
Your Honor, it is a motion drafted by Mr. Forrest. It's not a motion, it's just it's a stipulated protective order for us to be able to get access to the AT&T records of Mr. Ramos. There are specific parameters that the state was not comfortable with. We are in agreement to them, we just want the records.
Can I take a look at it?
Yes, sir. And we did forward it to chambers.
I don't know what I don't see it.
On the 22nd of the September.
Well, that's not even an e-file.
Okay, it was just sent to me.
Judge, that's when you can get a copy of the file. It was just an email.
So do we have these records yet? Have they been?
So, Judge, the state received these records several months ago. We made them available for inspection for the last however many months. I advise the defense, if they wanted a copy of these records, to please ask the court for protective order in light of the fact that, unfortunately, Mr. Ramos has received some harassment and threats related to the Constitution.
And what of his records would you intend to introduce as evidence in this trial?
Well, if Your Honor, we still have our pending pretrial motion for under so to the extent that the state may need to introduce evidence through cell site records of Frank Ramos, those are the records showing that he was in Georgia at the time of the crime. But because the cell site records are linked to phone numbers that Mr. Ramos would prefer to keep private and not disseminated around the public, we wanted the records themselves to be kept under protective order by the defense.
So how are you going to do this? I mean, you're going to come to a trial. I hate to pre-try this case, but I do have to ask.
¿Vieron la cara que le hice?
Just give me 1 second. Before I take any closed proceedings, I'd have to give notice, being informed, I'd have to give notice to the press, which would be this fellow standing there. Yeah, you're looking at him. You're on notice. It seems all right, let's finish this up. So, I don't want to pre-try this case right now, but I'm thinking, do you anticipate calling Frank Ramos as a witness?
I think no matter what the court rules, we would be calling him as a testifying witness, yes.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
And because at the very least, from what I understand from the depositions, he found some photos on his phone. He sent it to, I'm not going to pre-try your case, but it would seem to me that you're going to have him right there on the witness stand, and you might find occasion to ask him, where were you at 11 p.m. on October 12th, 2023?
Correct.
And then I imagine you might attempt to prove his whereabouts. What else is relevant of his records?
That's it. It's just the records, the cell site records correspond to personal phone numbers. So they've been available for the defense, but for his protection, we would like those records to be kept by the defense and not disseminated for any other purpose. That's all we're really asking.
Are you okay with that?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm not objecting to that.
Yeah, I think it's agreed to.
All right. Okay, so what else do we need to deal with?
Van a cuestionar a Frank Ramos.
I want to revisit some of the pretrial.
No lo negó.
Or is that something?
Well, I think the next thing I need to deal with before we go to pretrial stuff is your motion to continue. Is that something that we can handle in a public forum?
I'd rather we not do that, Your Honor. I'd rather you close the courtroom.
I'm not necessarily. My phone is blowing up from a public information officer and legal counsel saying, you want to close the courtroom?
There's very sensitive information that would need to be discussed, Your Honor. It should not be done in a public forum.
Can you just excuse me for a moment?
Sure.
So I can make sure I don't do anything that's inappropriate. And is there a portion of what you want to present with regard to a continuance that would not be subject to the strict confidentiality that you're asking?
Of course, Your Honor. We want a continuance. I'm a new attorney. I want to get up to speed. Mr. Baez has withdrawn from the case. I've only been around for a couple of weeks. everything that's
These confidential matters, are these new confidential matters, or are they the same confidential matters that we had with Mr. Bott?
Your Honor, these are new, very new things, and things that I think the court will appreciate that are happening.
Excuse me for a moment or two. We're on record, Abraham.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué se van? Dígalo.
Matters.
La doctora Descalzo está a punto a develarle al juez asuntos de cuello blanco.
Pero no quiere hacerlo delante de las cámaras. Quiere hacerlo en privado. Se tuvieron que ir a los chambers de él. No quiere que las cámaras sepan para que uno no sepa de lo que ella acaba de descubrir y son cosas nuevas. No es algo que ya estaba cuando estaba. Mira la cara de este, mira. ¿Qué es?
Miren la cara de Jonathan, miren la cara de Jonathan, pongan atención. Ahí hay lenguaje corporal de miedo. Yo no estoy exagerando, damas y caballeros. Todo está cayendo por su propio peso.
¡Au! Voy a ir a hablar a la doctora con él. Se fue descalzo con él para decirle en privado lo que encontró ella, la evidencia que tienen, que es muy confidencial, y es y se lo llevó porque no lo iba a hacer delante de las cámaras. ¿Qué huele?
Así es, el profesionalismo.
Como se quedó viendo, se quedó viendo buscando así como, ¿por qué se fue? ¿Para dónde fueron? O sea, como que lo sacó de onda.
Sí, claro.
¿Dónde estaba o qué?
Él está petrificado, ¿eh? Estamos en tiempo real, no estamos en pausa.
La cabeza de lado. O sea,
bueno,
sí,
se pausó la imagen, no sé por qué va. Bien.
Pero
mira la ceja.
Mira.
Wow. Y dijo ella que ella
déjame decirte una cosita rápida.
Nuevos descubrimientos, permíteme, nada más dijo que eran nuevos, porque dijo, esto era de los de Baez, cuando estaba Baez, dijo, no, esos nuevos descubrimientos, lo que ella va a hablar de eso, y no lo quiso hacer delante de las cámaras, y él mejor se paró y se fue con ella.
Hasta ahora lo que ha salido en el doque es la continuación para mañana.
Okay.
Mañana. El día entero.
Otra audiencia para mañana. Todo lo que ahorita aquí se esté hablando es fuera de récord, por eso hay una como repetición. Si se dan cuenta, está fuera de récord. Cualquier cosa que hablen entre ellos no será usada en juicio.
Mira la cara, le pregunta a Rielo y Rielo le dice y se va.
Nos descubrieron, dice Jonathan.
Ajá.
Y esto está perfecto para que no se den cuenta las personas, los contras.
Los que no tienen que saber, exacto.
Cuando es un crimen de cuello blanco, es súper secreto, porque tiene que ver con algo muy grave, muy importante. Entonces, para que no alertar a nadie, no sabemos, también nosotros, o sea, no vamos a saber, pero es buenas noticias, para que el juez se haya levantado y cuando le dieron ese papel, se haya levantado y se haya ido con ella.
Corriendo.
Ajá. Ya.
Ni se tardó nada.
No, la muchacha está sentada, le dio un papel y ella le dijo, yo no voy a hablar, o sea, prefiero no hablar de eso delante de ahí, ¿no? Delante de las cámaras. Uy, las cámaras han de estar queriendo ver qué es, pero no.
Pues igual
con la pura cara de Jonathan se dan cuenta, ¿no? Ceja fruncida, atrás de Rielo preguntándole, pues, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué está pasando? Y ella así como, no te puedo decir, y se fue.
Jonathan. Tengo una pregunta a Zoe y a todas. ¿Por qué el fiscal aboga, o sea, como que aboga un poco por Frank, de que es que queremos que quede en privado lo que diga? O sea, ¿por qué?
No, pero ya no puede, el juez ya lo acaba de negar. Van a cuestionarlo, van a sentar, el hijo, lo va a sentar ahí y van a cuestionarlo. O sea, lo va a sentar en el banquillo y le dijo ahorita, lo vas a sentar ahí y lo van a cuestionar. Y nomás se quedó. Y él no puede estar ahí diciendo que no, que sí, porque la doctora Descalzo le dijo que era importante y era nuevo, todo el acontecimiento eran nuevos.
Ajá, y es sospechoso eso de que, no, es que lo queremos mantener en privado. O sea, ¿se te hace normal? ¿Se les hace normal?
No, pues ahorita casi le dijo, tú no eres el abogado de él, tú vas a cuestionarlo. Y dijo, sí, yo lo voy, es mi testigo. Ah, bueno, va a estar sentado en el banquillo, ellos tienen derecho a cuestionarlo, porque no pueden, o sea, levantarse e irse y que no lo cuestione la defensa. Tiene que, así como le hicieron a los Segui, le van a hacer a Frank. No se te escucha. No se escucha.
No tiene señal, mami, no tiene señal.
¿Escuchas?
Que no tiene señal, mi amor. No se te escucha nada.
Se escucha como tapada la bocina.
Ahora está, dice Mortal que ahora Jonathan está como Oscar, que volá, a mí no me llamaron, que volá.
Sí, quería que lo invitaran allá al chamber. No, porque es algo de cuello blanco. Es una información de cuello blanco, fíjate.
Ok, seguimos en comerciales. No han regresado de la cámara. Seguimos en comerciales.
Victory, que la vea.
Ya no sube, mami, ya no sube.
Quiere, ajá.
Sí, ahora sí.
¿Aló?
Sí, mami, sí, ahora sí se te escucha.
Mija, es que me perdí. ¿Quién fue quien se salió con el juez?
La abogada.
¿Quién salió con el juez?
La abogada descalzo.
Tiene una información nueva que no quiere que los noticias sepan.
Y ya.
Y el juez cuando vio la hoja que...
Ojalá que sea lo de las fotos de Frank.
No sé, pero cuando la muchacha que está enfrente de ellos, que le dio la hoja al juez, cuando vio la hoja, dijo, vámonos, y se levantó rápido y se fueron. Algo vio ahí él también que se espantó.
Oh, wow. Sabe Dios.
Y Jonathan y esta, mira cómo están.
Están en reloop, todavía no carga la imagen nueva.
¿Tienen Jonathan?
Ya ella pidió subir.
Estoy aquí arriba, mami. Solo una preguntita.
El hielo cuando pasó por ahí.
Adelante, hija, dígalo.
Solo una preguntita para Zoe, rapidito. Zoe, mami, si ya ellos ahí escucharon la llamada que estaba sellada del 911 y Derek dijo y todo el mundo escuchó, someone stabbed my mom, ¿qué más hay que esperar? Ya el juez oyó que...
No, sí. Ahora falta el veredicto de eso. Tiene que terminar esto. Mañana todavía van a seguir. Él no puede hacer veredicto hasta que mañana lo cuestionen, sigan con Oroseguito otra vez o con otro, no sé quién sigue. Mañana, pero no pueden hacer el veredicto final hasta que no. Lo que pasa es que no se esperaban que iba a tardarse tanto así, y sí se está tardando muchísimo. Entonces, hasta que no terminen eso, él hace su veredicto. No puede brincar la cuerda, de todos modos. Tiene que ir a escucharlo todo completo.
Disculpa, ¿y qué pensaría si no regresamos a la transmisión actual? ¿Qué pensarían ustedes?
Pasó algo muy grave.
Bueno, no estamos regresando, ya Telemundo ya está presentando otra cosa.
Ay, no. A ver, déjeme. ¿Es en serio?
Váyanse al otro, búsquenlo al otro.
A ver, ahí voy a checar. Ahí voy a checar.
No sé si Steady asume Law and Order. Déjame ver por acá qué hay, Déjame ver por acá, por este lado. Pero no hay transmisión.
Le voy a mandar uno que me habían mandado a mí, a ver si...
Están desde Nueva York, están conectados desde Nueva York con el asunto de Maduro. Están hablando de eso por lo pronto.